Don't you know we gotta? Don't you know we gotta? Good evening, folks. And don't you know we gotta take our little pain pill for the sore neck that I have? Yes, tonight's episode is brought to you by Canada Dry and Rob Daniels Visions and Sound t-shirt. Yeah! And as Chris Sarr says, you gotta turn it up louder. Welcome to the show, everybody. We are waiting on the arrival of John T. Snow, Kevin Simister, and Harrison Kopp. And we will be talking about the best of the bootlegs. And I'm going to show you a couple right now. If you like Max the Axe, you might like this bootleg. This is one. Limited edition of one. There is only one copy of this in the world. Because I bootlegged him myself. This is Max the Axe, Randy, live at the Boathouse. I've shown this off on the show before. I recorded it on my cell phone and decided to make my own little bootleg Max the Axe single. Because why not? As the man would say, you gotta. You know what else we gotta do? We gotta welcome to the show Mr. Bootlegger Mars himself. There he is.
Hey now.
How are you tonight, sir?
Oh, super fantastic.
Nice. I like your shirt.
Oh, thank you. I think your wife and my wife shop at the same place.
I think that, well, we do end up with some very good shirts, both you and I, and your wife as well. My wife was rocking the AC/DC a couple nights ago, too. So, you know, really,
nice.
all four, we can count them. You know, we'll give them all the thumbs up here. So, Kevin, you got a list tonight.
I do. A list of 11 bootlegs.
And you always kind of do something different, don't you? You always come up with something, a twist, don't you?
I don't know if I did this time.
No?
I don't think so. I didn't really think my concept album stuff was that twisted. But a lot of my, like, I tried to do a visual thing with all, like a physical copy, if you will, of all the bootlegs except for one.
Yeah.
But basically, just because I haven't burnt the two CDs. Thank you, Lana.
You know what? That sounds like a request. And I had some bootlegs I wanted to show off that aren't going to be on my list, unfortunately.
Oh.
And I don't really care if we do save it for the beginning or the end or whatever, because, you know, there's really, what is there to spoil? You know, most people have not heard of most of these releases, so I'm just going to show one off real quick.
Sure, why not?
For Lana, this is AC/DC Rarer Rarities, and it is exactly what it says it is. It's mostly B-sides from the Australian CDs, but the reason that I bought this is that it has AC/DC's very first single on here with, God, what's his name? Dave Evans? Was that his name, the singer?
Yep.
The very first AC/DC single, Rockin' in the Parlor, Can I Sit Next to You, Girl?
Nice.
Rarer Rarity. So there's one of the runner-ups for us.
I had something like that burnt, but I think it was just stuff I downloaded from Napster. You know, when Napster was new.
This is not a burned.
Oh, no?
No, this is a legit factory pressed CD.
Well, legit.
Sorry.
Legit is loose because a lot of the stuff I don't know what. It's a real gray area on. Is it legit? Like, it's not legit. It, like, the band is not getting any money off.
Correct.
These
it's
things.
not legit, but I think there's a certain. I mean, there's an uptick in quality.
Oh, absolutely.
On a factory press CD versus a burned, and I will not pay for a burned CD if I can at all avoid it.
Well, and then I don't know how some places get around with it. Like, you can find some bootlegs in Walmart of all places, which is just mind-boggling. I understand mom and pop record stores, but AC/DC bootlegs in Walmart is wild. I got an example here. Like, when I got into bootlegs, it was when the downloading thing was. I never really bought tapes or anything like that. My friends did. I remember my buddy Frank buying a Metallica one, and it was I think it was the Black album, and it was, you know, we thought, oh look, they're going to be doing all these demos and stuff like that, and it was all like James grunting into the microphone while the band plays a song because He hadn't figured out the lyrics yet, and he was just figuring out the melody. So I never really, you couldn't listen to bootlegs either, right? So the quality varies as well. When downloading became a thing, then you could download them and listen to them and see if you like them and that. And so this is an early one that I did. It's called Living in the Past, and it's a show from.
I have a bootleg from that flashback.
Okay.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was something I made like in the early 2000s, right? And then I'm in Walmart one day, and the exact same show. It's not officially released, but it's like
probably a radio broadcast version.
Yeah. Well, it's the same show. It's the exact same show. It's just I downloaded this off of Napster back in the day and made my own disc, and then I bought this at Walmart. It's got its own SKU number and all that. It's kind of weird.
I think I can explain that. And a lot of the time, old radio broadcasts and television broadcasts were bootlegged on vinyl.
Yeah.
Because what other way can you get it? But today, radio broadcasts seem to be legal. They're available on Amazon. They're available at Walmart.
Yeah.
It's essentially the exact same thing, just that before it was considered a bootleg, and now for some reason, something changed in the 2000s where all of a sudden radio broadcasts are just like at Walmart. I excluded all of those kind of CDs from my list tonight. But listen, I know we have a couple of guests standing by. They're just raring to get ready to rock. So why don't we run the theme song by T-Bone Erickson? We'll run the theme song, and then we'll bring on our two guests.
Sounds good.
Rock and roll! This is the LeBrain Train.
Ticket to anywhere and a glazed donut to go. All aboard!
Welcome, guys.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Directly beneath me, we have Harrison Kopp, all the way from Australia. Happy Saturday to you, Harrison. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
And to his, I guess that would be to his left, but to my lower right is John T. Snow from Too Loud, Too Old Music.
Hello.
How are you tonight?
Bootleg shirt.
Buddy. Oh, that's great. How are you tonight, Harrison?
Good, thanks. You?
I am great, thank you very much. Are you ready to rock some bootlegs this evening?
Yes.
Oh, Chris Sarr has a question. Where in
Perth.
Australia? Perth, there you go. And
Capital
actually, Lana,
city of Western
Lana
Australia. Sorry.
Western Australia, the capital city. of rock and roll. Kevin, does the Walmart version of that AC/DC have better sound than the Napster one?
Yeah. So here's how. Now, forgive my chicken scratch, but here's how in depth I go with my bootlegs. I'll write right on there what the source is. So these were MP3s that I downloaded.
Gotcha.
And I do have terrible handwriting, by the way. But yeah, so obviously this is much better quality than the MP3s.
There you go.
But I have...
That could be just because of the MP3 format, too, the lossy MP3 format.
Absolutely. But I do have, I have a bootleg of Tokyo 81 show that is better than the one I bought at Walmart. This one is it's, I don't know. It sounds terrible. It sounds like they put a mic, I don't know, underneath the stage, Whereas I know that there is soundboard recordings of this show because it's on the Plug Me In. And that's the stuff that they use for the bootleg is the soundboard stuff. So I don't know. Anyways, so sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't.
There you go, Lana. You got the typical Kevin answer, which is in four parts to a simple question.
I have a quick question for Mars, if possible.
Yep,
yeah, go
sure.
ahead.
A soundboard bootleg is basically, they take it from the soundboard, and the soundboard is everything that the band plays going into the soundboard unaltered. So how come a lot of soundboard recordings I know have audience noise on there?
It comes through the mics. It depends on how directional the mics are. It depends on what the band's using. We can get to it later. I have some bootlegs where there's no crowd noise at all. And then sometimes they'll actually record it that way because they might intend to release it at some point later on. So, there's a lot of AC/DC bootlegs out there of the shows that they use to make AC/DC live, right? So all those shows incomplete are out there as bootlegs, because they were all recorded with the intentional that any songs from any one of these shows could be put on the album. So,
okay, thank you.
No problem.
So I have, I just want to ask John and Harrison a couple quick questions before we get into the lists. Starting with John. John, define bootlegs for you.
Bootleg for me, it's anything that's not official. From the band's not getting paid.
Right.
They didn't approve anything, and other people are putting it out to make money off of it.
There you go.
So that's how I look at it.
That covers both audience and soundboard recordings, basically.
Yes. Yeah, no, I have both.
And I would say unreleased tracks as well.
I have a few demos.
We're gonna get into some of that tonight. And Mr. Kopp,
yes,
because your personal bootleg experience is less with the physical media and more with the digital, you have decided to go largely with your favorite YouTube concerts tonight. Did you have any specific criteria?
I was basically just considering a bootleg as anything that's not officially listed in the discography, because this covers TV broadcasts, which are technically approved for the broadcast.
Mm-hmm. Was that a fly?
Also, I think so. Some sort of bug, yeah. Fly on the wall.
Very good.
Also, are we counting albums by Outtakes, Queensryche as bootlegs?
Actually, you know what? I had a serious conversation about that with Jimmy, formerly known as King Crimson Prague. I posted that list of his. And, the truth is that I didn't want to support Jeff Tate's Queensryche at the time because I didn't want to fund his legal battle against the Queensryche that I preferred. But now that that's all said and done, I'm considering adding that album to my collection. Just an aside. Okay, so we've talked to you two guys, but we got to do one thing before we get into the list, and that is this.
Nigel, the top 10. The top 10. Oh, these ones go to 11. The top 10.
That's right. It's the Nigel Tufnell Top 10 Bootlegs tonight. And the reason we call it the Nigel Tufnell Top 10 is that we list 11, because that's what Nigel would do.
Yeah.
And because Harrison is already way ahead of us, he's already waking up on Saturday morning, why don't we start with you? And Harrison, I think you said you were going to post the links for your YouTube videos. Am I right?
Yeah, just as we go, I'm going to put it in the chat. And
You do that, and I'll put them on the screen.
Yeah. And mainly for people if they want to come back later and,
Right.
you know, not search for...
Or you mean like us?
All that, yeah.
All right, Harrison, we're because you are in the start, we're gonna start with you.
Also, I do have a couple of double entries, so to speak, where the two I've picked are too similar for me to, because I wanted to talk about as much as I could. They were too similar to like sort of put in two separate things. Also, like one might be like more historical, one might be like this is a great show. I'll get to those later. It's only a couple. My number 11 is the only one that's not like a proper full-length show. It was pro shot. It was filmed for a TV appearance, just like a local TV thing, and it is Sabotage live in 1982, featuring a very young Ray Gillen. And they play three songs: Heaven and Hell, The Scorpions' Another Piece of Meat, which has a really good riff, and Led Zeppelin's Rock and Roll.
Are you kidding me?
No, it's definitely Ray Gillen. You can hear his voice is a bit younger. It's not yet what it would become on the Seven Star Tour, but he's got talent, that kid.
That is what. So it's a 3-song set.
Yeah.
Covers.
Yeah, they are covers. Yeah.
And you said the name of the band is Savatage.
Yeah.
Savatage.
Yes.
Well, I know, like, Ray Gillen sang background vocals on Hall of the Mountain King, the album. You're blowing me away, kid.
I was too as well when I first saw that.
Wow, that's cool. Lana has a question here that I'm just going to address real quick. Do people get in trouble with releasing bootlegs if they post it without the band's permission? I think historically there have been very, very few cases of the bootleggers getting caught and punished. You know, I think the ones that got away with it far outweigh the ones that did not.
Yeah, they don't issue enough.
See, sorry, John?
I was going to say, they don't issue enough of them to make it worth the band's time to spend the money on the lawyers to fight it. That's the problem.
And some bands like Metallica was notorious for being supportive of it, which made their whole war against Napster and made their whole war against Napster completely odd, because they were always the guys that were in support of bootlegs. But also, I can't remember what I was going to say now. No, I'll forget it. It wasn't important then.
Well, I think we're off to a great start with Harrison. My number 11 is unfortunately one I can't show you physically because it's in my storage locker, but is one of my favorite videos. Deep Purple, June 18th, 1994, Ghent, Belgium. I bought this video from a local bootlegger named Ralph, and it was with Joe Satriani on lead guitar, because Harrison knows that I like to collect different lineups. John knows that too.
Yes.
Joe Satriani lead guitar. And the most memorable thing about this show to me, aside from the fact that they did play Satch Boogie, is when they did Smoke on the Water. And Satriani decided to do some insane tapping stuff at the end of the song. So instead of just riffing, dun, 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 he's going with tapping, right? And you just see a sea of fists pumping in the air on Satriani's side of the stage when this happens. And he goes from that little riffy, that little tappy riff thing, right into just pure shred, like fucking great. And you know, they say Satriani was open to the idea of staying in Deep Purple, and I wonder what the world would be like if that had happened, because they had chemistry. And that is my number 11. Over to you, Bootlegger Mars.
That's awesome. It's funny how a lot of like live shows and live videos and that, how much you enjoy it is really based on the audience reaction to things, the crowd reactions to things, I find anyways. So because a lot of my bootlegs were downloaded on whatever, LimeWire, Napster back in the day, eventually Pirate Bay, I got a whole binder full of this.
God!
These are all my bootleg.
Oh
These are
my
the bootlegs
God.
that I couldn't find like artwork for them. I was never creative enough to do like my own. Like I found that awesome, like with your tapes, how like, you know, Paul Stanley was like drawn in and colored in and all that stuff. Like I find that stuff cool. I never felt creative enough to do that. I would always go on online and try to find like someone else's artwork or whatever.
That didn't exist when I was doing that, Mars.
Yeah, I guess so. So my number 11 is it's a Big Brother and Holding Company with Janis Joplin singing. It's from San Francisco, 1967. And as you can see, it was a FLAC file. And I think I edited something on it, I guess. I can't remember what. But the reason why I like this bootleg is how it was recorded. It was just recorded with one microphone, capturing the whole band, and it was her vocal microphone. So her voice is very prominent, but you can still hear the band, and you'd think like that wouldn't mix very well, but it's just mixed perfectly. And it starts off with just a killer version of "Call on Me," and it's only number 11 because the audio quality kind of gets crappier towards the end, and that might be why I took off the last song or something, because I didn't like it or whatever. But can't find this anywhere. This is the only place it exists too, and that's the other reason why I like bootlegs. It's a lot of times it's the only way you can get some of the music. So there you go. That's my number 11.
Okay, John.
All
How
right.
about you? Show and tell time.
My number 11 is a radio broadcast
Nice.
from March 17th, 1984. It was the debut album of Bon Jovi. They were touring it, and it was a broadcast right before they went on their very first tour. This is it. And so that's the back. But they play all but one song off of the Bon Jovi album. The only one they don't play is Burning for Love. And then their encore song is I Want to Take You Higher is the name of it. So that's the only place I know where you can get that song.
Like, is the Sly and the Family Stone song I Want to Take You Higher?
I think so.
Wow.
I could be wrong. I haven't. This is one of the few I haven't written up on.
Okay.
So I have 22 pages of notes for all my others.
Right.
For this one, I just don't. I just like this one because it is as early as you can get for Bon Jovi, because the album was not this band. The album was Aldo Nova and some other guys. It was not
Pierce,
Sambor and Tico and stuff. And what I also like is when he's
Hugh
introducing
McDonald
the
played
band.
on that debut.
Yeah, when he's introducing the band, David Bryan is actually David Brahm.
Right.
Oh no, Rashbaum.
Rashbaum.
Yeah, and so it's not. He hasn't even switched to David Bryan at this point. So yeah, I just like it. His first album, they hadn't even gone on the tour yet, so it was a radio broadcast the day of their first show.
Wow.
So I like early Bon Jovi, so I like this one. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's just
I
black.
look forward. Can you just show us again? I'm going to put you in the solo layout, and can you just get us a good close up there? Look at that. That is John Bon Jovi, peak Bon Jovi, shot through the heart. Yeah, beautiful.
1984.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going into round 2. Would you like? I just have to do a quick Jen check. She's not feeling well tonight, so I'm going to be doing them more frequently tonight. Do you guys want to answer Lana's question right here, or address her
It's
comment?
the same. Well, it's 40 years.
And he's had a tough life, right? I mean, not financially, but on the road.
On the road all the time, and when they were younger, I'm sure they weren't not drinking.
Yeah.
And stuff. So it takes its toll.
All good.
So.
He's never had any issues though with abuse or anything like that, right? He's been a
Not that I know
clean
of.
guy.
No, I don't think he's ever been into rehab.
Bon Jovi?
Yeah.
No, about the only scandal he ever had was I think his daughter had a problem with drugs at one point.
Mm.
But he's been always just kind of like a straight dude, shooter. Okay, well, thanks for covering for me. Jen as well.
Good.
And that brings us to round 2. Harrison Kopp, give us your number 10, please.
Okay, first, may I just go back to something Mr. Mars said about audience reaction and bootlegs? LeBrain, can you tell
Please do.
LeBrain, can you tell the story about Ozzy and some Sabbath songs and a bootleg? Unless it's appearing on your list.
No, it's not. That's my buddy Peters. Are you talking about the Osmosis tour?
It's the one where he asks them about if they want to hear some Sabbath
okay,
songs.
so my buddy Peter, he used to go to record shows with me all the time, and he loved bootleg videos. He collected Ozzy and Sabbath. And one of my favorite things that I wish I owned, too, is a live gig that he had from the Osmosis tour. It wasn't with Zakk Wylde on guitar. It was with Joe Holmes and Geezer Butler on bass. And Dean Castronova would have been the drummer. So that's a rare lineup, for one. So I was jealous. But then at one point in the show, Ozzy goes, "Would you guys like to hear some Sabbath?" And you hear somebody, "No." And Ozzy's like, "No? Well, here's Ferries with Boots." Something like that. There you go. There's the story.
All right. Number 10. It's from Electric Light Orchestra and the 70s live period, very well documented. Their reunion periods live, very well documented in live albums too. But their 80s, nothing official at all. And my favorite ELO album is Time from 1981. And so this show is from Rotterdam, 1982 on the Time tour. It's an audience recording. The voices are clear. It's not the best audience recording I've heard, but for the Time tour and the other bootlegs that are out there, it's top-notch stuff. And you get a lot of tracks from Time. You get a Beatles medley as a tribute to John Lennon, and that's the only tour they played that on.
That's cool.
And because Jeff Lynne was a really big Beatles fan, he has an unreleased track called Beatles Forever, which is just, Beatles melodies of songs all like melded together with new lyrics. Anyway, and at this point, ELO had so many hits that they've got 24 minutes of just medleys of their hits because they just couldn't play them in full. So you get basically the definitive ELO live album, especially because they didn't tour for Discovery, so you get some Discovery tracks too.
That's brilliant, man.
Nice.
Just got a message. I'm looking into getting T-shirts made.
Oh.
Yeah. A guy I know is getting into printing T-shirts, so why not, right? Support your friends.
Yeah.
So, Harrison, thank you very much. I'm very surprised to see ELO on your list. Not.
I'm not.
My number 10 is something I've written up on my website twice. Because it's a split bootleg. It's weird. It's a split bootleg. King's X and Faith No More. It's called Kings of the Absurd. And 4 tracks by King's X. And then the balance is by Faith No More. And they're not even from like the same gig. It's 2 completely separate locations. 2 completely separate dates. I don't know why these particular 2 bootlegs were jammed together on 1 CD. But this is one of the first purchases I made at my store. The original record store where I worked way back in '94. And it was like $12 maybe. So brought it home. Sound quality's okay, decent. And I like both bands. But I wanted to share with you guys a little clip. Because I can't share music, but I can share stage banter. So here's Faith No More live in Italy. 2 clips in particular. One addressing a security guard and one about another band that was on the same bill as them. So here's Faith No More, live in Italy.
Hey, security guard down here? Can't believe you people, huh? Not so much, punch 'em!
How many times have you seen the movie Rambo? You never seen it? You acted pretty well.
Kill everyone!
Take it easy. Have a drink, take a drug.
Easy, gentissimo.
Go take a nap, like this. Yes? See.
No!
Hey, you guys, I have another question. Out of all of the bands that play here today, who do you think does the most drugs?
Grazie, Italia, grazie.
I have a question for you. Out of all the members of Poison, which one can suck his own dick? Is it the singer? Is it the guitar player? Is it the the bass player? Well, you're right, because it's the drummer! Woo!
I wouldn't take that as verbatim fact. But that's an example of the kind of thing you only get on a bootleg. That wouldn't make it to a... Generally speaking, would be edited out of a official live album. So that's my number 10. Faith No More and King's X, Kings of the Absurd.
Well, you'd know if
Mars.
Sorry. Well, you'd know if that would be fact or not because you are the leading expert on that. You know, Marilyn Manson.
Let's just go over to you, Mars.
Well, I don't know how to top that, but I'm not even going to bother.
That came out a bit wrong.
I was looking for John's reaction on that one because he likes Poison too, just like me. So, but over to you, Kevin.
Well, I'm glad for you, and maybe he'll show it during a show or something like that for you, and on a bootleg or something. I don't know. My number 10 is a little more tame than that. Mine is Albert King. This is from 1976, September 29th, 1976. So this was sort of not officially released, but that was the other thing too. I had to make sure because some of these bootlegs are so old that in the past 20 years they haven't been officially released, and some of the stuff I have has been released or will be released soon. Like I got a bunch of Ragged Glory outtakes that Neil Young is going to be releasing officially soon.
Can you show us that CD again? It looked familiar. The brand is familiar.
Oh, TDK.
Oh yeah, the classic. Yeah.
Yeah, my preference in CD was basically whatever was on sale. I did not.
I get it.
There was some that it had to be a name brand like Sony, TDK, something like that. Nothing, generic. But, anyways, so yeah, this show, kind of like the Walmart thing, has been released. You can find them for like, I don't know, $100 or something stupid like that because there was a limited release on Amazon. But this is a full show. Albert King had like a really funky band backing him up in the 70s. It's not like that straight blues from earlier. And surprisingly, him considering he's one of the kings, a lot of his live stuff has not been released. It's not easy to find. So I was happy to find this. And it's a good show, and Dickie Betts from the Allman Brothers sits in on a few shows.
Sweet.
So it's pretty sweet, and it's it sounds great. It's all off the soundboard, and small club as well, which is always nice. It's like about 150 people. What is it? The Bottom Line in New York. Yeah, it seats 200 people, so it's a very small crowd there, and I think they were serving drinks or food because you can hear like some clanking and that between the songs and that. So that's always a little nice touch. So that's my number 10.
I'm going to address the small club thing later on my list because some of my favorites. Sometimes the smaller the venue, the better the sound. But John, what do you have in your number 10 spot?
All right. My number 10 I picked up when I was on vacation in New York City a few years back. We went down to Greenwich Village and hit a bunch of record stores.
Oh, dude, that's the dream.
Oh, it was so much fun. Yeah. I got to talking to one of the guys, and there was a band I was starting to get into, asked if he had anything, and he pointed me towards this. It's Generation X. It's a bootleg from 1978.
Nice.
I mean, look how young Billy Idol is.
Same hair, though. Never changed his hair.
Yeah, he hadn't changed anything. But it's from 1978, December 8th. I'm assuming this is unofficial because Discogs has blocked it. even though it does say BBC transcription series. It's just, I mean, it's phenomenal. They are so rough, so raw. They sound horrible at times, but I mean, it's what punk was back in the day. I mean, it's a pure punk album. He says, you know, he curses quite a bit in it, which is fine. And then the disc, it's two vinyl. We got a translucent orange.
Nice.
And then we got one that looks like shit.
I should be doing this.
It's the brown color.
Can you do us one more close-up on the translucent orange? Sorry. I should have put you in solo.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely.
Yeah.
Really nice.
So that's my number 10. And I'm not going in any order. I just kind of have them stacked.
I wish you guys could see what I see. There's a rabbit right outside, a big rabbit right outside my window right now. Hey, T-Bone, how are you doing?
T-Bone.
Evening.
That's a fabulous pick, John. Interesting that Discogs has it blocked because it looks so official. You know,
it actually does, but no, it's a bootleg.
I'm going to just quickly share an image with you guys because this is kind of funny. Harrison, you've seen this before, but give me a second here. Share. There we go. Okay, so this is on an Iron Maiden bootleg that I own called Another Live. And basically what this fine print stuff says is that the record company or whatever you want to call them that issued this CD has opened a bank account where they're going to put all the monies from the profit of this album into that bank account for Iron Maiden to access should they ever desire to access it. I think that's kind of funny. I highly doubt that is real. But it's kind of funny how they try to cover their asses like that, eh?
It's the thought that counts.
It's the thought that counts. Yes, it's true. Okay, so Harrison, now we're into the number 9, round 3.
Yeah. Right. First, I'm just going to quickly rewind to that comment I made. I was referring to all the WTF search terms that you used to get about Marilyn Manson's lower ribs that drove you nuts.
Let's just say that in light of recent events, those search terms have picked up.
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay, and now for number 1. This is the first double entry. I'll go with the main event first. It is Black Sabbath, like shirt. And it's from the Eternal Idol tour. It's Bremen 1987. As for the non-Tony Martin tracks, it's a pretty standard Martin set list. But you do have the best version of Neon Nights that I've ever heard him do. It's an audience recording, pretty damn good audience recording. But of course, the main draw of this is The Shining. And then the second one, this one didn't make a list, but it is quite historically relevant, so that's why I'm bringing it up here. It's Black Sabbath again. It's from the Tony Martin years, hence why it's a double entry, because they're similar. It's Hammersmith 1990. It's an audience recording. It's not as good quality, but it's got Tony Martin singing Sign of the Southern Cross, which was the only tour I think he did that. It's got him singing Heart Like a Wheel, which is the only time I think a song from Seven Star has ever been played outside of its tour. And of course, they picked the worst song on the album.
Yes, I believe that is a yes to both. Yes.
Yeah, but the real icing on the cake for this one is that not only Geezer Butler coming out to guest for the encores, one of them which is Heaven and Hell, but Brian May of Queen does as well.
Nice.
Okay, well.
He guests on guitar for the encores, including Heaven and Hell, which I do believe he liked that song a fair bit.
How do I follow that? Bravo! That's a wonderful find, Harrison. And that's the kind of thing that you only wish could get an official release. Dream on, right?
Well, they recorded Hammersmith 1978, Hammersmith 1981, Hammersmith 1986. So, they could have recorded Hammersmith 1990. I think they seem to like the venue.
True. You never know. I mean, these guys have retirements to fund.
I believe that most of these shows are recorded. They just don't release them for whatever reason. It's
also a matter of whether the tapes were lost or kept.
Oh, that too, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful, Harrison. Thank you for that. I'm going to switch gears a little bit with my number 9 because this is not a live one. And you'll have to excuse me. I had a really a bad habit of stealing colored CD cases from the record store. Anytime somebody traded in a mint CD with a colored case, I'd be like, whoop, substitute that one for a brand new regular clear case. This is Bon Jovi, Keep the Faith, and New Jersey Outtakes. I bought this at a record show in, I believe, Guelph in 1995, and it has a whole ton of great tunes, actually, and it's amazing that some of these never made albums.
Did they end up on 100 Million Fans Can't Be Wrong?
Some did, and some ended up on that great New Jersey box set, but there are others here that did not.
Okay.
And I can't remember off the top of my head which ones they are. But if I'm not mistaken, there's a track on here called Does Anybody Really Fall in Love Anymore? And although the sound quality is not great on this, this is the better version of the song than whatever is out there officially released. River of Love. Oh, no! River of Love is a very different version, too, if I'm not mistaken. There's so many. Growing Up the Hard Way, Now and Forever, Judgment Day, Let's Make It Baby, which is a great tune. Really great tune. Love is War, which ended up being a B-side. Rosie, which ended up being a Richie Sambora solo track. Wild as the Wind, Living in Sin, Blood on Blood, Backdoor to Heaven, Homebound Train, Love Hurts, and Stick to Your Guns demos. This is a great little disc and a perfect example of a non-live bootleg. These are all demos that somehow escaped the confines of the recording studio. And bands do not like it when that happened. No, they like that a lot less than they care about the live bootlegs. Because somebody on the inside did that. And
yeah, well, not only that, like it's an unfinished product, right?
Yeah.
So if you're an artist and you're creating, like maybe there's stuff on there that you never intended to get out, you know?
Virtually any demo you can say that about.
Yeah, unless it was been officially released and they said, okay, yeah, that's fine. You know,
nowadays it's kind of it's different nowadays because demos are frequently officially released on deluxe editions and whatnot, but they're also a lot more finished than a lot of these other demos that I'm going to be talking about tonight, where there's not even necessarily a full band arrangement. There's a drum machine on a lot of them.
Yeah.
And River of Love is a killer Richie Sambora song, says Lana, and she is not wrong. Okay, Kevin, number 9 for you.
Okay, so my number 9 is Stevie Ray Vaughan. This is from Montreal in August 17th, 1984. And it's my first double. Need two discs, 1 and 2.
Nice.
It's funny too because when I was making all these CDs, the pressure was on to get the music off of the hard drive and onto a CD because our computer at the time had a whopping 18 gig hard drive. so hey, that was a lot of space back then. And so all these WAV files and FLAC files and SHIN files, if anyone remembers those, they were huge files. So the pressure was on to get the stuff burnt to CD and then figure out what to like label it and all that later. And now I'm busy like ripping them all back to files on the computer so I can listen to them. But anyways, in the 80s, Stevie Ray Vaughan did release an official live album called Live Alive, I think.
Live Alive.
Yeah, and it was never my favorite. It was always a little too clean. It didn't feel like didn't have the groove that his live shows usually have. And there was a show that he did at the El Macabo in Toronto that made it to DVD. That was fantastic, but they never did a CD release of it. So at the time, because I couldn't convert CDs to audio, I can do it now, or DVDs to audio, I can do it now, but I was on the hunt for a show that sounded as good as the El Macabo, and this one from 1984 in Montreal was pretty darn close. So this like has like just like a grittier, more raw sound to it. It doesn't sound as clean. So that's why this has always remained one of my favorite bootlegs.
That's cool, Kevin. I like it. I like it a lot.
Anything
like that,
bone.
John T. Snow?
All right, now we're going to jump from 78 to 1984, or back to 1984. I think I've already done a 1984.
You did.
And I'm trying to see. I thought I had what show this was. Oh, well. It's 1984. It is Billy Idol in New York City.
Second appearance of Mr. Idol.
Yeah, but a different. That was Generation X.
Yeah.
This is Billy back on 1984. So Rebel Yell. And the weird back. The back really has nothing to do with Billy Idol.
Huh.
It's talks about how records became records and how they were made. It is just the most bizarre thing. But you do get the track listing down here, and I love the fact that with bootlegs come errors.
Yes.
And the first song is called Punk Rock, which it's not. He doesn't have a song called Punk Rock. It's actually a song Baby Talk. So, and then the second song on here is Flash for Fantasy, not
Flesh
for Fantasy.
Yes.
So obviously they knew nothing about Billy Idol and just threw stuff together. At least they got the picture of him right on the front. So, but it's a great show. Like I said, it's early. So it's got Blue Highway, Do Not Stand in the Shadows, Eyes Without a Face, White Wedding. I mean, it's got all Dancing with Myself. It's got all the classics, but it's from 1984. So it's really early in his solo career. So just prime stuff.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Speaking of errors on bootlegs, I thought I was going to show this off at one point tonight, so may as well do it now. This is the worst purchase I've ever made. And you've seen this on my site before. Kiss Carnival of Lost Souls? What the heck is that? Carnival of Lost Souls? Who's that on the cover? Not the guys that played on Carnival of Souls.
No.
And on the back cover, there's many songs with the wrong title, such as Hate Is What I Am. It's not the name of the song. It's just called Hate. I Think It's Gonna Rain Down on Me, which with Down on Me in brackets. The song's just called Rain. It Never Ends. That song's actually called It Never Goes Away. And You Confess. I think the song's actually called I Confess, isn't it? I can't remember.
I believe so.
And there's also a track missing. The Bruce Kulick track is not on the bootleg version.
The one where he sings? The one with Bruce singing?
Yeah, not on the bootleg version. I don't know if you have a lot of memories of when this came out, but worst purchase I ever made, considering that I was holding this and Chikara, or however you pronounce it, that Japanese Kiss greatest hits from the mid-'80s.
You gave up Chikara or whatever, yeah.
And then this came out officially about a year and a half later.
Yeah.
So I put it in one of those nice CD cases, the colored CD cases that came with You Wanted the Best, You Got the Best, and sealed it up in shrink wrap to protect it, and I have this as a testament to my own stupidity. Harrison, before we get to you, Holland is saying hello, and he wants to know what's with your homage last name. I kind of wish Holland would just settle on a name so that we know who he is. Like, why not just put Holland? Then we know who he is. We don't have to guess. But anyway, would you like to address your last name issue tonight?
It's a pretty lame joke that Australians would get more than anyone else. Okay. I can explain it. It just takes a bit if you want.
No, let's not. Let's get on with the list. Let's go with your shit. We're at number 8. Let's get on with number 8.
Speaking of errors, so many bootleggers, when they do song bootlegs from the X Factor tour and the Virtual Eleven tour, they always call Man on the Edge Falling Down because, that's what Blaze is, yelling all the time.
Yeah.
And when you said worst purchase I made, I thought it was going to be Virtual Light.
No.
And that actually does have an error on it where Yannick's name is spelled Janis for some reason.
Janice, yeah.
Janice.
Yeah. That's how you know it's official. So number 8,
Anyway, yes.
Yeah.
Number 8. This is the only bootleg from where the tour has an official live release in some capacity. Not this exact show, but it's from Black Sabbath's Born Again tour, and it's however you say this place, Worcester, I believe. That's how it's spelled. Yeah, okay, thank you. And it's, of course, it's got Bev Bevan of ELO on drums. It's got Ian Gillan on vocals. And the Born Again tour was a pretty iffy time for Gillan's voice. You know, it could go either way. This is the show where he remembered that he's actually a kick-ass singer. Because it's got a lot. It's just a great performance of. It's missing one or two songs, but you know, you got Paranoid being nailed, Iron Man. You got Hotline. He really goes for it on Hotline and stuff. It's an audience recording, but it sounds almost good enough to be a soundboard. I've been told it's an audience recording. I can't tell. It's that good. And yeah, anything Ozzy can do, Ian can do better, as I've said before.
I'm not going to touch that, even though I agree with it. You know, Harrison, I have that Black Sabbath Black and Purple bootleg, and there are issues with Gillan's voice on that thing. Rock and Roll Doctor. Is Rock and Roll Doctor on the one that you're talking about?
No, that's one of the ones that is missing. The only one on this terrible. The only one. Imagine Super. Have you heard him do Supernaut? It's like not terrible, but he goes just like I want to reach out and touch the sun.
Well, on mine, his voice is constantly cracking. So on Rock and Roll Doctor, it's gonna see the Rock and Roll Doctor. You know, his voice is constantly cracking. Yeah.
The only song on this one where he's cracking, he sounds a little shaky on Children of the Grave, but he pulls through all right. It's really only Heaven and Hell where he sounds a bit cracking in this one. But I actually think that straining to reach actually complements the song and like the tone of the song. But
sometimes it can. Sometimes it can. Yeah. I'll have to hear it and you will give us the links.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah. Awesome. So my number 8 is a show that I attended and purchased from bootlegger Ralph at a record show somewhere in Ontario. Now, I don't have the VHS tapes. They're in the storage locker, but I do have the cassettes that I dubbed from when Queensryche played Toronto on the Promised Land tour. And they played all of Promised Land live, although this is before bands played the entire thing in sequence. This is when bands just played songs from the album scattered through the set, but they ended up playing the entire album, the entire Promised Land album, which is a personal favorite. Harrison, you might not like it. There's a lot of in-between song stuff that goes on.
We'll get to that later, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, so to Denon. This is the brand that we sold at the record store at the time that I purchased this bootleg. 2 Denon cassette tapes. This gig was July 27th, 1995. And it was a great gig. It was actually the tour closer. And during a few of the songs, the roadies would come out and play pranks. So it was very memorable to me. Typo Negative was the opening act. And so I bought that on VHS from bootlegger Ralph. What I remember about bootlegger Ralph is that my buddy T-Rev, who you've heard me talk about many times and has commented on the show many times, he befriended Ralph, sort of, and went to his house and checked out like his wall of videos and got Ralph's list of bootlegs that he had available, and we could just order. It's like he'd give you a deal if you bought 3. He'd give you a deal if you bought 5 or 10. And so I ordered the Queensryche show that I attended. And, bootlegger Ralph, thank you for that. Hope you're still out there doing whatever. Well, you can't really bootleg right now, so wherever you are. Over to you, Kevin.
Okay. So my number, what's 7? Is that we're on?
8.
8?
8.
Whatever, my next one.
8.
Yes, my next one. This is a cool show. This is another small venue, 150 people in Washington, D.C. And so, believe it or not, there are not a lot of live recordings out there. There are a few, but not a lot, of Dr. John. So this is Dr. John from November 10th, 1978, the Cellar Door in Washington, D.C. And I actually got a little printout for this one. And this is the other thing bootleggers would do back in the day, too, you could see the I can't remember what they call it, but it was like the line of, so it was recorded in Washington D.C. on a soundboard. Somehow it got to the internet and then burned to CD and FLAC files. So those are all so that's your set list. And not a lot of live recordings of Dr. John, and not a lot of live recordings of Dr. John doing a bunch of his hits all in one show. So like on this one, you have Iko, Right Place, Right Time, Mama Ru. I don't know how much you guys know Dr. John, but Dance the Night Away. Anyways, it's a great show. He does he comes out and does half of it with the analog piano, and then halfway through the show, he switches over to the electric piano, like one of those 70s electric pianos, and it is just great. Again, 150 people, so it's really an intimate setting. It's a really fun listen. I love it. So yeah, that's why it's on my list.
I'm just going to hit you with a question real quick.
Go for it.
FLAC files. What do you play
Yes.
them on? What do you use to play them?
Your computer will play them.
What software? I've always had issues with FLAC files. Like, click it. What do you want to open this with? And I'm like, I don't know, fucking nothing. I don't have anything that I can open this with.
There's a free program called VLC that you could use that will play pretty much anything. I think I have that somewhere too, Bill. You probably stole. Actually, you know what? There's a missing spot right here. So Bill probably stole that from me. Wouldn't surprise me, man. What were we talking about? FLAC files. Yeah. So there's a free program, VLC. They'll play FLAC files. I use a program called Music Bee. They'll play them. But I also have my. I can't remember if I showed it on this show, but I have a little. It's like a player for the car. Plugs into the cigarette lighter because I don't have like a USB connection or anything like that. And it'll either hook up through your auxiliary port if you got an auxiliary port on the car, or it'll transmit through the FM player. Kev got all his boots from me, by the way. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think it went the other way around. You can stop posting quotes from that guy.
Actually, I want to address him directly. Bill, this is Mike. I would love to be on your show sometime.
Oh yeah,
I have something to unbox. I don't have anything to unbox currently, but when I do, I'd love to be on your show. I don't have a beard though. So.
I did hit him up. I did say that you wanted to be on, but I didn't realize that this show and his show were going to be on at the same night. So I didn't think you'd be up for doing his show right after this one,
dude.
But if you are,
see this.
If you are, you're more than welcome. We're going to be starting at
not tonight because I don't have anything to show.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but absolutely, like maybe after next week's show. Sorry, how's my volume? Holland was saying he could not hear me, so I turned up my mic.
Yeah, you sound good.
It's good. Yeah.
Was I too quiet before?
A little quiet. Yeah, it was.
Okay, I'm having a hard time arriving at the right balance. Okay, John, you go ahead. Quick gen check.
Okay. So my original thought.
Oh, sorry. Your phone will play FLAC files too. You can download things for your phone. You can download VLC on your phone. Everything will play FLAC files.
Audacity is another program.
Yeah, Audacity will do that as well. Yeah. Sorry, I just meant to finish that.
Yeah. You can convert from FLAC to MP3 with Audacity as well, but that might defeat the purpose of having a FLAC file.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I don't have FLAC files. It's just they're just better.
So FLAC file stands for something lossless audio codec. Flawless. I don't know. I think flawless, lossless, something audio codec or something like that. And what it is, it's like kind of half of a WAV file. So a WAV file is like completely lossless. Like it's like vinyl record level of quality. It's just, but they're huge files. They're massive.
Yeah.
So MP3s are like compressed, right? And that's where you lose all your extra audio in that. So FLAC files are about half of a WAV file. So they take up a lot less space, but you got the quality there. You got a lot of the quality there.
Okay.
So when I rip my CDs to the computer, I always rip them to FLAC files.
All right. I have to remember that.
Yeah, there's a free program called Exact Audio Copy. It's like one of those open source programs. And I use that to rip all my CDs. And you can get it to, I just want to rip a CD really fast. So you tell it to do it fast. Or you can get it like, it'll go meticulously, like make sure that everything is perfect from the CD before it puts it onto your hard drive. But it takes forever to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, John, did you go ahead?
I hadn't.
No, I interrupted him, of course.
Let's put you on the solo layout and see what you got.
Okay. When I set up the list, I didn't want to repeat artists, but I really had no choice because I've only been collecting for a little while, and or collecting bootlegs. So most of mine are going to be from this next band. This is from 1995, February 7th, in Harrison's neck of the woods.
Holy crap!
It was recorded at the Hilton Hotel in Melbourne.
Ha!
It's an acoustic album, and it is Kiss. It's called All the Way at the Ballroom.
What's the exact date on that again, John?
February 7th, 1995.
Well, John, I'm going to put myself on solo layout for a moment because I'm going to show you something.
You're going to have that too?
Oh, maybe I can't do solo layout.
You should be able to do yourself.
Hang on. Okay, there we go. Here's my copy. At first, I thought it was July 2nd, 95. But no, that would be February 7th, 95.
February 7th, yeah.
So I guess when we get to my number 6, spoiler alert, we can just skip past me.
So did Kiss do a whole bunch of acoustic shows?
Yeah, they did. This is from the Kiss convention tour.
Yeah. And so, but it was like only in the mid-90s when they were doing the conventions. That's when they really started. And that's when they got invited to do Unplugged.
This is what sparked the reunion.
Yeah.
Peter Criss was invited to guest at one of
He
these
wasn't
gigs,
at this particular show.
No.
Yeah.
This is, but damn it.
Yeah, but what I like about this one is they played A World Without Heroes.
Yes.
Shandy. Of course, they're in Australia. They're going to play Shandy.
Yes.
And then they did a medley of Coming Home, Flaming Youth, and Mr. Speed. And just phenomenal. And the crowd, they were just having a blast.
And let's not forget all the songs that they only played bits of, like, say, for example, Room Service.
Yep.
Take Me. Unholy.
Oh, you know, they're not on this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This one, you know why?
It's only a single, one vinyl, and it's just all white, no label.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
So, and it did come with, I've only opened this once. It did come with a poster of the album.
Nice. That's nice.
So
mine
so
is
that's
a
what I
double.
love about this. Oh, yeah, you got the full show. I didn't get the full. But I couldn't pass this up when I saw it.
No, you couldn't.
And I think I got this at one of our local independent stores.
I honestly did not expect a single repeat tonight.
No, me neither, actually.
I didn't either.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's cool. So that'll speed things up because I don't have to do my number 6. Okay. Oh, hang on a second here. We got comments. To aid Kevin, FLAC stands for Free Lossless Audio Codec. He didn't know what the F stood for. I guess the one that... Yep, there you go. And he uses EAC2 with FLAC. Oh, you saw all this! What the fuck? I'm wasting my time. Harrison is scary, quite contrary. I don't know if that's in reference to anything specific.
It will be. It will be.
Well, Harrison, you're about to take us into round 5 with your number 7.
But first, in the vein of what you said about, bootlegs and stage banter, another great thing about bootlegs is you get like mistakes that don't end up on an official release. One of my favorite mistakes ever is on Iron Maiden's Book of Souls tour in Tokyo. They're doing the Trooper. So Bruce goes backstage, he gets changed, he grabs his flag, he goes up the stairs, and right as, they finish the riff, he goes like, and finds out he doesn't have a microphone. He didn't bring the microphone with him. And then you see one of the roadies like scuttling up the stairs, handing him the microphone, and Bruce just bends over and starts howling with laughter. He goes, "That's a jet lag moment." And of course, the crowd are just singing the lyrics for him, but you won't get that on an official release.
Yeah, I've got one Kiss one that it's up here. It didn't make the list, where Paul Stanley falls down twice at the opening song, and Gene ends up singing Detroit Rock City. or a portion of Detroit Rock City.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, it's really cool. Its sound quality is kind of sucky. That's why it's not my top 10. But really, mistakes like that are just, I actually love that because of bootlegs. It's just makes it real. It makes it, like it's.
If I may break character for a moment here, and John, I honestly have to say to you, personally speaking, I think of all of our friends that we have made over the last few years in this wonderful community, you have the very best record collection. Dude, I want your fucking... Oh, thank you, Jen. Scared me there. Fresh coffee.
Nice.
I want your record collection, my friend. I really do.
It's not all you want. You want this little box over here too.
I'm counting that. That's part
Counting
of
that in there too.
No, that's part of the gestalt of your record collection.
That's good.
That's very
Oh,
clever.
shit. Sorry, Harrison, taking you off track.
It's fine. Well, that comment does actually tie into my name. Basically, in Australia, I'll do it very quickly. In Australia, the two main car brands are Ford and Holden, and there's a big rivalry between them. So discount Harrison Ford is Harrison Holden.
Oh,
That's
hence-
fucking funny.
Hence the name.
That's good.
I swore twice, and I promised my mom I was going to try to stop.
Anyway, number 7. It's a pro shot. It's not the full show, but it's most of the show. There are only two lineups from this band that haven't got official live albums, and LeBrain has covered one of them already.
Deep Purple.
Yes.
So it's the Joe Lynn Turner lineup.
Yes, Budapest 1991, Pro Shot Joe Lynn Turner show. He's a little raspy, as his voice, degraded in quality a bit, but he does a commendable job. You get a pretty healthy mix of Machine Head classics and some JLT era, whichever that album was, material.
Slaves and Masters.
Yeah, but my favorite song is the rarely played Knocking at Your Back Door. Yeah, he does that one well. I think I almost prefer him singing it than Gillan, but I'm not sure. When I get to Song of the Week, Knocking at Your Back Door, you'll know.
Okay, so you're right that Knocking on Your Back Door is a rarely played song, and I'm guessing because of the lyrics, because it's a brilliant tune. The only
It's
thing
going to reappear on a list in a couple weeks with Mike Slayan.
Oh.
Actually, that's next week.
Oh, okay. Next week it's
That is
reappearing
next-
on my list.
Are you joining us next week?
I'll have a list in person.
Okay,
I won't
okay.
be here.
Okay. Sorry, the only thing that sours me about that whole Joe Lynn Turner period is how he seemed to really trash talk Ian Gillan a lot.
Or in Highway Star, he does the Ian Gillan mouth guitar parts. I was a bit like, I was like, dude, you're trying a bit too hard there.
Yeah,
I mean, he
no.
nails it. He nails it, like the same tone and pitch. But dude, that's Ian's thing.
Yeah. To me, that's kind of almost like the guitar player from Kingdom Come, maybe using a violin bow on his guitar. That's a good pick, though, Harrison. A little bit. I didn't expect that. Do we have Bear? Is that what? I thought were you petting your dog there for a second?
Yeah, just Bear's right here.
Hey, Bear, how you doing?
He's tired. I think he's got to go out.
That darn dog that is keeping me from your CD collection.
And he will do that, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to grab my next pick, my number 7. I found my list kind of went in pairs here, and that was unintentional. So the second in my pair is another cassette, and it's the David Lee Roth Big Trouble Comes to Toronto that I reviewed earlier this week. And if anybody wants to read the full details on this cassette, they are free to go to my site and check it out. You guys have already read it. Steve Vai on lead guitar, Greg Bissonette on drums, and Brett Tuggle on keyboards. And I believe that is the entire lineup.
That's common knowledge.
Common knowledge.
Yep.
Great show. My very first bootleg. Thank you, Rob Vukovic. He sometimes watches, but he hasn't commented, so I don't think he's watching tonight, which is a real shame. So thanks, Rob, for taping that for me 29 years ago. It was the winter of 92. Yeah, February around now. So thanks, Rob. I I'm hearing some echo on my voice. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
is
I don't
everybody
hear it.
okay? Does it sound so? Everybody's okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Kevin, number 7.
So my number 7 is a band that you wouldn't think doesn't have too many live albums out there, but this band really does it despite being around for 50 years. And one of their albums, 2 of their albums, actually half of them are live, and the rest is studio. But there's not too much live ZZ Top official out there. And this era from 1980, when they were on support of the Guello album, is like my favorite era of the band. Like, they were just on top of their game. They just sounded great. They play a lot of the songs from that album, which is like my favorite album. Even though Tejas is creeping up there. But like, they play pretty much the whole thing. You got I Thank You, I'm Bad, I'm Nationwide, Low Down in the Street, Fool for Your Stockings, Cheap Sunglasses, She Loves My Automobile, Hi-Fi Mama, Dust My Room. That's all from the same that same album. Then like a couple other hits in there, but this is a great quality. This was the King Biscuit Hour, so I guess it is a broadcast recording. That's just straight up vinyl. It's a 180 gram vinyl too, which is nice. But it's just black vinyl. But so I've had copies, like bootleg copies of this. But when I found this in Montreal at for $23 at. I can hear my wife yawning upstairs, so she's not watching us tonight. What is this place? Oh, I can't remember. Oh yeah, it's right here. Beatnik Records in Montreal. Have you ever been there? Anyone? No? All right.
Never been
it's
to
a good place.
Montreal. We've only driven through Montreal.
Oh, it's great, man. You got to go to Montreal, check out all the record stores. And comes with a nice little insert in here. With a little write-up in that. You don't usually get that in the bootlegs.
No,
It was one song, Mr. Meat. One song.
What's that?
Oh, there's just some contrarian arguments going on here between Eric and Harrison.
Oh, well, what else is new?
I toned my microphone down. We're getting reports of the echo, so I toned my microphone down.
Okay.
Yeah. A ZZ Top bootleg from the Afterburner tour was this close to making my list.
Is there one? Like, is there a good quality soundboard one?
Yeah, there's a very good quality audience one. It's not the full show, though. But when I did Song of the Week, Got Me Under Pressure, I was mildly surprised that LeBrain picked that bootleg version as his favorite rendition of the song.
Hey, man, it's all about what about that performance you're tweaking to. Sometimes it's sometimes just the way a voice goes at the tail of a line. You just might like the little twang that he puts in the voice at the end of the line. You never know. Sometimes it's the way the guitar squeals in the solo.
I'm just surprised you were like that definitive on it just after one listen.
Yeah, you got to take a stand. Also,
I'm taking a stand on some things later today.
To be honest with you, I didn't have really time to just analyze them one by one like you did.
Fair enough.
And these two guys are talking about Montreal, and I've never been to Montreal, so there you go.
It's hard to hit the strip clubs when you're visiting Montreal with your wife, depending on
your wife.
Well, yeah, I guess it totally depends, I guess. Jonathan.
Okay, we're going to do Kiss again.
Yes.
No.
From 1979, July 8th, in Largo, Maryland. Return to Capitol Center. I picked this one up in Paris just 2 years ago.
All right.
It's a brand spanking new version of it. Great picture on the back.
Love those outfits.
Gatefold. Incredible. That's
that almost looks official. Can you open that up again real quick, the gatefold? Look at the flames on the side. That almost looks like an actual official Kiss release, doesn't it?
Yep.
That's wicked. That is wicked.
It came with like a little obi strip, even though it's not Japanese. It just has that little strip. It came with this little thing that's like a disco ball shiny. It is white vinyl. And it came with a replica tour book from the Dynasty era.
Wow.
I mean, it is
That's worth it.
just
That's worth it.
freaking amazing.
Yeah.
The sound quality is good. It's really what's great about it is the Dynasty year. They play 4 songs from the solo albums.
Right.
They play Radioactive, Move On, New York Groove, and Tossin' and Turnin'. I mean, it's a great show because you don't get a whole lot from that era anymore. They definitely rarely do solo songs.
No, I gotta say, John, Tossin' and Turnin', I don't think I have any version of that in my collection live.
Oh, nice.
I don't think I do.
Yeah. Now, the great thing about it is Peter, when he comes out in the encore and he does Beth, he fucks it up so bad. He screws it up. Yeah, I think he forgets the words. He's not sober. And that's, I think, what I love about it. It's just such a bad version of Beth. Yeah, it's just something to have. But I just couldn't believe all the crap it came with. And
Chris would like to know what that's worth.
I want to say it was about 60 euros. So
which is about, what, $60? Or
probably
60?
about $60. Yeah. Most of the ones I bought
in Canadian, you're looking at 75.
150. No, probably 80 or 85.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
What now?
No, in Canadian dollars.
Oh, in
Loose
Canadian
bucks.
dollars. Yeah. But no, I think because I bought a ton when I was over there because when am I going to get back?
Right.
This guy I asked him, he spoke a little English, and I said, do you have bootlegs? And he goes, come here. I go up to the counter, and I was like, I'm looking for Kiss. He goes, I'll be right back. And he put a stack on the counter, and I bought all but one, I think. And,
wow.
And I'm regretting getting the one I didn't get, but yeah, it was amazing. My wife just kind of rolled her eyes when she hauled me. I mean, I'm having to lug this.
Oh yeah, who cares?
I carried it on the plane so it wouldn't get damaged.
Oh
man. Lana, was that the first time John has said the F word on the show?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say the F word on the show? I'm sorry.
$92 Canadian.
There you go.
Wow. I don't know if I mean, I would like to have something like that. But I don't know, 92 is pretty rich. Okay, well, John, again, dude, I think if anybody was keeping score tonight, at least in my books, you're definitely the winner. Harrison, what do you got for we're still on number 7, right?
No,
we're on to number 6. We're into number 6 now. Harrison, what do you got for your number 6?
First, I got a quick question for Mr. Snow, just out of curiosity. Did any of the Kiss members actually go on tour for their solo albums?
No.
Okay. Not surprising.
In fact, Peter Criss didn't even go on tour when he left Kiss and went solo.
No.
All right, number 6 then. We have Judas Priest, and would you like to try and guess which tour?
Defenders.
Absolutely not. Terrible tour for his voice.
You mean everything you've heard on that tour was you didn't like the vocals on anything on that tour?
I didn't like the fact that Rob's voice was in its worst condition.
Okay, so that was a general problem then.
Yeah, the Defenders tour was right before Rob got clean for the Fuel for Life tour, basically, or it was at the height of his substance abuse, and he struggles just to keep it together on Sinner, the mid-range Sinner. He struggles to keep himself from being out of breath. So Defenders tour, no, absolutely not. And I hate that because Defenders of the Faith, my favorite album, and they played it. 99% of the songs.
So you have not found a gig from that tour that you.
No, unfortunately.
Okay.
So it's a different
you want
tour.
me to guess? Is that what?
Yeah, I'd like to see if you can just keep things interesting a bit.
Fuel for Life tour.
No, we have 3 live albums from that one already.
Okay.
Don't need another.
Okay.
Nostradamus.
That's true. That's true. I've noticed.
How would you react?
I've noticed. I said that 2 weeks ago, didn't I? I said you guys look so similar.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Yeah. Sorry. I just had to put that on. Go ahead, Harrison.
How would you react if I told you it was the Ram It Down tour?
Well, I haven't really heard anything from that tour. I just know that they played a lot of stuff that I don't care for on that tour.
Well, Let me say that if you thought the Fuel for Life tour was going above and beyond the call of duty vocally, you ain't heard nothing yet.
Okay, cool.
The Ram It Down tour was the best tour for Rob Halford's voice. It was in better condition than on Fuel for Life tour. And this show is, the guy who filmed it, it's an audience film with like a camera. This guy knew what he was doing. The sound is, you have to crank the volume, but the sound is clear, it's good. You know, when Rob's singing, camera's on Rob. When KK's soloing, camera's on KK. When Glenn's soloing, camera's on Glenn. You know, he knows exactly what he's doing. And that really makes it good. It's from Miami, 1988. You've only got 4 songs from Ram It Down. So it's not as bad as it could have been.
Is one of them Johnny B. Good?
That was my question.
Thankfully not.
Oh.
Thankfully not.
Well, I don't want it.
Well, like with the Fuel for Life tour, it was a very 80s heavy set list. But with the Ram It Down tour, they brought in a bunch of 70s tunes, and it was a more balanced set list. So you've got Rob basically screaming his way through Sinner, Ripper, Beyond the Realms of Death, Victim of Changes. He's just absolutely going for it. Like even with the Ripper, you know how he goes, you're in for a shock. You know, there's like a very, very small like gap in between the shot and the scream. In this, he just goes shock in one fluid, continuous moment. The only place and time the only tour I've ever heard him able to do that. I would buy a 30th anniversary of Ram It Down just to get a live show like this.
Are you listening, Judas Priest?
The awesome thing about bootlegs too is when you hear something like that, you know it's legit. Yeah. You know there's no studio shenanigans or anything like that because it's a live recording. You know.
Yeah. Awesome, Harrison. Thank you. My number 6 we've already covered, which was Kiss Unplugged. And this is the 2 CD version. I bought this at Orange Monkey Music in Waterloo in, would this have been in the summer of 96? I'm not sure when I bought this. Sometime around then. Anyway, that came from Orange Monkey Music, and it was a pretty penny. And that was my number 6, which we've already covered. So since I don't have a lot to say, and since we're at kind of roughly the midpoint, you guys feel like taking a break?
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Because I feel like taking a break.
Okay. Well,
okay.
That's all that matters.
Okay. So for break time, I have a video lined up for you folks. Yes, I do. I have the video that I tried to play, I think, for New Year's Eve. And this is a little video by Maxi Axe called Scales of Justice on the LeBrain train. Yeah! Oh, it puts us on the side.
Yeah, we want to take a break.
Well, I'm taking a break.
Hey, I got the show to myself, Max Jax.
That's
Learning experience with these videos. That's the first time I've done it that way. So apparently our pictures are on the side when I do it that way.
You can there's one beside it where you can go full screen and it'll take us all down.
All right. Next time. Well, that was a great tune.
Yes.
And
yes.
I would like to see them play live again.
Mm.
And Max would like to see them play live again. And, you know, I would like to say on the topic of bootlegs that I wish I had bootlegged the entire show instead of just that one track, which is here. I wish I bootlegged the whole show because they played the whole Status Electric album live and a bunch of other older tracks too. And
Do you guys have any devices to bootleg a show?
Well, I just what the hell is that?
That's a device to bootleg a show.
Okay.
It's a digital recorder.
Okay.
Got your mic.
Oh.
Your mic's right here.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you just sit that down and get your show going. Get your show on.
Required. That's cool.
You can
Well,
also
anyway, Kevin.
you can also take right off the soundboard too. You got a couple XLRs right off there. Yeah.
Okay, so we know who the bootlegger is in this particular group of people. All right, so Kevin, we
Yes.
left off at number 6, and it is your turn to go.
Okay, so this bootleg was recorded before this band even had an album out. Going back into the folder here, back into my big folder. And I sort of got a cover for it here. I'm trying to get it out of the thing here. So here's the cover for it.
Tenacious D.
So this was recorded September 7th, 2001. The album
Yeah, that's
didn't come out-
legendary, man.
The album didn't come out till later that month. So this
Yep.
is disc 1. This is disc 2. And then I got a little lineup here of all. So, because Tenacious D songs are fairly short. So you got all these songs on
okay.
here.
Yeah.
Plus some video bonus on there.
You burned a multimedia disc?
And this has the line too. The source was what does it say? Soundboard to an AD1000 machine to a D8 recorded at 48K. Then it was converted to Tascam DA20 to an RM982 PST to an SF 5.1, and then finally it made it to CD.
Wow, aren't you glad you wrote all that down?
I didn't write that down.
Oh.
That's the information on the bootleg. That
Wow.
right there. But that's how meticulous some of these guys are.
Question for you from Daniels.
H4.
I think regarding your recording device.
Oh, it's a Tascam. I don't know what the heck it is. Tascam DR40 linear PCM recorder. So yeah, it can record line in off the soundboard if you want, or it can record sound like microphones. These are a couple of microphones. It goes like that for like travel, and then you can just put it out and it'll get all the ambient sound and all that stuff if you want, and it records it to SD card. And you can record in WAV files, you can record in MP3s, you can record in FLAC if you want.
And you can tell who the two guys are that work in media, Daniels and Mars.
Yeah, I'm jealous of Rob, man. I would love to have a radio show. That is some good times. I wish his radio show wasn't on too late, though.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
But anyways, about the Tenacious D show. This was a fantastic show. And if you know anything about Tenacious D, when they first started, they were very comical and stuff. And they had to drop a lot of stuff from their shows when they went legit. So a lot of people don't know that Tribute, the song that made it onto that official album was completely different before. It had these huge sections that were basically the tribute. The greatest song in the world was Stairway to Heaven. So there were huge portions of the song that would go between Stairway to Heaven and then back to Tribute and that, but they could never do that officially. They couldn't, because they would have to pay the rights for Stairway to Heaven. And then unfortunately, when that song kind of took off, that became the version that people knew, and they didn't really know the Stairway to Heaven version. So you got to go back to a bootleg like this to hear that kind of version. And they used to do like a little skits like Saxaboom, where they'd have this little it was like a toy for kids where you would pretend to play a saxophone, but it would play a song for you, and they'd make a whole song around that. They had Spider-Man come out on stage, and they did the Spider-Man song, and they would it would totally be bastardized with a lot of cuss words and stuff like that, and him sticking stuff in things and whatever. But it would be one of their roadies that would come out with Silly String, and he'd come out in a Spider-Man thing. Anyway, all that stuff is on the show, but it's stuff that they couldn't do once they became famous because they'd get sued by Spider-Man people like Marvel or whatever. So really fun bootleg, good times. So that's my number 6. Is it?
Yeah, 6. That's what we're at. Oops.
Okay. So, surprise, surprise. It's another Kiss album.
Wicked.
It's from July 10th, 1976 at the Roosevelt Stadium in Jersey City, New Jersey. And I believe it's I don't know, it might be an audience recording, but it's a really good audience recording. This was another one that I picked up in Paris. So it is called The Summer of Satan, The Devil Ride Out. And that's the cover.
Okay, we're going to put you in solo layout.
Okay.
Sorry, I reacted too slow there. Okay, yeah, cool.
That's the cover. That's the back.
Wicked font, too.
So gatefold as well.
Yeah.
It's green vinyl, translucent.
Nice.
And then it's the sleeves each sleeve has one of the members on both sides. And then apparently it's a limited edition. There are only 500 made. And this is number 394. So anyway.
Man, stuff like that honestly looks better than official.
It does. I mean,
you saw the new Live in Tokyo official bootleg that's coming out.
Yeah, I can't
wait.
Like
shit compared to that.
Oh yeah, because it's just a brown wrapper and just with the logo. But I want it, and I'll get it.
No, and I'll buy it too. I'm actually going to go CD and vinyl on this one.
You're gonna do both.
Yeah. Can you keep me posted on when you see it up for pre-order?
Well, Amazon took it down, so it's not even up on Amazon anymore.
That's not a good sign.
Yeah. Well, it was up on Target like a couple weeks ago.
I find the States they're able to pre-order stuff a lot more sooner than Canada.
Yes.
Canada always seems like a week or two behind.
Yeah, but the Target one was up about a month ago, and then they brought it down, but they still have the CD. They don't have the vinyl anymore.
Okay.
So
all right,
don't
keep me posted on that.
But this one's just, this is classic Kiss, 1976. Is that what I said?
Yep.
I mean, it's got all the, you name it, it's got it on there. But I liked Let Me Go Rock and Roll was really good. Ace's solo was, Ace at that time was phenomenal.
Yes, it was.
I liked, they did Watching You, and they played Flaming Youth, which is one of my favorites. So I'm glad to have that one. I'm trying to think.
Rarely played.
What was funny about this one, which is why I think it's an audience recording, because there were two guys, one in particular. The first half of the show, he kept screaming out, "God of Thunder! God of Thunder!" between every damn song. And then after they played that one, it became Black Diamond. Then he wanted to hear Black Diamond. And, Black Diamond doesn't usually get played towards the end, till the end. So it was just like between every song, you just heard this guy yelling out, "Black Diamond! Black Diamond!" So I kind of enjoyed that. That was kind of funny part of it.
That's an audience recording, I guarantee you.
Yeah. It was right by a microphone.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the quality of it for being an audience recording was really good.
Like sometimes, it depends on where they are in the area or whatever. Like that's how live albums were recorded back in the day. B.B. King live at the Regal was in the 60s, and it was just a microphone hanging down above the band. That was it. So you can get high quality stuff if the guys know what they're doing. The Grateful Dead guys, because I think they do so many shows and because they follow them around everywhere, they're really good at it. They know exactly where to stand in that. So you can almost get fooled into believing it is a sound.
The Grateful Dead bootleggers, they also didn't have to sneak their equipment in.
No, that's
they could
true.
Bring in bigger, bulkier equipment if they wanted to.
Yep.
Yeah.
John, that's another wonderful pick. Regarding the fan who keeps requesting, sorry, what song was he requesting?
First it was God of Thunder, then it was Black Diamond.
So I don't know if this is on your version of Unplugged, but on mine, on the second disc, they start taking a lot of audience requests, and you hear this one Australian guy go, "Let me go, rock and roll."
No, I don't think that one's on mine. Like I said, mine's edited down to fit on one vinyl.
Right. Okay, Harrison Kopp, my Australian guy. What do you got for? We're heading into the top half now. What do you got for your number 5?
My list is Iron Maiden from here on out.
Whoa!
Well, because I'm one of the guys who believes that you need to have a live album from every tour. No excuses.
That's
Yes,
what I'm going
100%.
for. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first of these 5, it's a pro shot. It was broadcast on TV. It's Ullevi 2005, and that's the tour that was in support of the Early Days DVD.
France?
It's not Sweden, I believe.
Sweden.
Yeah. Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
It's not the most exciting show, you know. Bruce isn't, you know, in his prime, but the main reason it's on here is because of its historical significance. And I'll quote one of the comments on the video. It's they playing some Ladano shit here. And like, you've got Bruce doing Another Life, Prowler, Remember Tomorrow, Die With Your Boots On. That's not Diano, but Drifter, Murders in the Rue Morgue. Probably for the last time ever, some of these songs would have been done by Bruce. And like Drifter and stuff, he hasn't done that since like 81, 82. So it's a very historical document. And of course, you know, it's Early Days. You've got him nailing Where Eagles Dare.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, hopping on a bronze leg, if you're watching tonight, this is about when you want to tune in, by the way. This is Harrison going full Maiden from here on in. Wicked. That's awesome, Harrison. And yeah, Murders in the Rue Morgue, I don't know when they... Did they play that on one of the later reunion tours? One of the retro tours?
After 2005, I don't think so. Because Somewhere Back in Time didn't have it. That had like Phantom of the Opera. And of course... Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, cool. That's a great pick, Harrison. Is that the first? That's the first Maiden tonight?
I believe so.
Cool.
Yeah.
Definitely not the last.
Oh.
My numero 5 is one that I'm going to ask Kevin for some visual support on. Can you pull your one bootleg that has the back that looks like this?
Oh.
The one
Yep.
that, I believe you made it, but you must have downloaded the cover.
Yeah, I
right?
downloaded the image and just...
Right, so Flashback. I've seen numerous bootlegs from this label. They all look the same. They all have this. They all have like the font that looks like this. If Kevin holds his up, I bet you your font looks...
Yep, it's the exact
italics. Yeah. So I wrote about this earlier in the week. You know,
same. Is it a film, like on the front as well?
No.
Oh.
This one has a different kind of cover.
Okay.
But
Cool.
you know, I wrote about bootlegs a bit this week because I thought it'd be a good opportunity to kind of get people interested in the subject. And this is what the cover looks like when it's not in the colored case. And on the inside, you just got a bigger picture. And at the time, I was like, what is going on with this picture? Because if you look, that's the Sphinx.
Yeah.
In the background, which they did not have, or I didn't know that they brought that to Europe on the Revenge tour, because I guess they couldn't bring it over when they did the Hot in the Shade tour, is the story. But I was like, what is this picture? Because Gene is clearly Revenge era with the beard, but I didn't understand why the Sphinx was there. But apparently they did bring that to Europe on the Revenge tour, because they couldn't before. Regardless, that picture has nothing to do with the actual contents. It is Revenge tour, but it is the club tour, which was before the album came out.
Ooh.
And all songs recorded live in San Francisco, April 23rd, 92. So a few weeks, maybe a month before Revenge came out. And there's some funny, like Paul Stanley stage raps are classic. And there's a funny one here where he's like, you know, we just had to come here and see you guys because we're so excited about the way we've been sounding lately. And I was like, really? That's the reason that you came to see you guys? It's not because you have an album to promote. It's because you're so excited about the album that's coming out. You know, this album is our revenge. You know? And they play Unholy. And they also play Take It Off. They play both songs. And for a long time, this was the only live version of Take It Off that I have. Because as you guys all know from Jon Snow's recent Alive 3 review, Take It Off was a very rare bonus track. It was only on the vinyl and the Japanese. And I didn't get the vinyl until 95. And getting the Japanese was not a possibility in Kitchener, Ontario in 1993. Just was not a possibility. So like I said, club gig sounds really hot. It's really loud. I'm very, very fond of that show. Another thing I loved about it was I Was Made for Lovin' You. It was back in the set for the Hot in the Shade tour, but this version slams. It's almost like borderline thrash metal at times. It's just so heavy. Yeah. So that's my my fist in the air kiss, unholy kisses at my number 5.
I don't have
Over to you.
Cool. I forgot to mention during that Tenacious D show, they're excited because they have the new album coming out, and Jack Black asked the crowd, "So who's going to be buying the new album?" And the crowd's like, and then he says, "Okay, and who's going to be downloading the new album off of LimeWire?" It's pretty good, Mo. All right, this is the last one for the binder.
Okay, we're gonna go solo layout again.
This is you can find this on YouTube. I've actually found this on YouTube. This is an NPR show. I don't know why it's never been officially released because it's fantastic. This is Willie Nelson on NPR doing piano jazz. This is from the studios in February 2002, and as you can see, it was a FLAC files that was burnt onto a CD.
Yeah, and
we got the whole lineup here with the songs, and then you can see it was an FM soundboard, question mark, the CD EAC secure to a WAV file to FLACs. Level 6 FLACs, by the way. So this is the cool thing about this show is that it's like Willie Nelson is accompanied by a jazz quartet, and he is just singing country standards or country songs like Crazy from Patsy Cline, and he's singing those melodies while the jazz band is playing behind him, and it sounds like something that wouldn't work, but it totally does. It is fantastic, and it's a unique show. I've never heard anything like it. I've never heard anyone do anything like it. I don't know why it's just a bootleg. Like, I don't know why they just did this one show once and never did anything like it again. But it's fantastic, and that's why it's on my list.
I like how you called it Crazy by Patsy Cline.
Why is it not Crazy?
No, Willie. It's Crazy by Willie Nelson.
Did Willie Nelson write that for Patsy Cline?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got a version of him. There's a great CD, incidentally. If you don't have it, get it. Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson VH1 Storytellers.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, they do Crazy on that.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I thought he was covering Patsy Cline though, because
No,
she
he
had a
wrote
hit
that.
with that in the 50s. I'm guessing.
No,
You know, and
that.
yeah.
Well, you know what? Shit. Now you got me questioning myself. I'm certain he wrote.
I don't.
that.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I just didn't know that.
I
believe you. It sounds like a Willie Nelson song when I think about it.
I just kind of want to make sure.
I'm sure she didn't write it. I'm sure somebody else wrote it. But
Yeah, there it is. Crazy is a ballad composed by Willie Nelson. And
Cool.
Whew, got that right, because it's the last thing I want is to go out live on. There's no edit button.
Oh, who cares? You made a mistake. Who cares?
Yeah, but I'm LeBrain.
Who cares? You're not perfect, man.
When I make a mistake, people go, "Got you, you son of a bitch!"
When they tell me
You're
I make a
forgetting
mistake,
there was an entire week called Stump LeBrain Week.
so what?
I have to get these things right.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
All right. Well, okay, maybe. Anyway, I'm sorry. John.
Okay.
John, number 5.
All right. We're going to go back. This is 1984, and this bootleg is actually from the time period. It's the show was from October 26, 1984 in Johanneshof Stadion in Stockholm, Sweden.
Okay.
Let's just say it was in Sweden. And it is, they only come out at night.
Okay, solo layout. I've seen this picture before.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what's cool, it's just a white jacket, and they glued a piece of paper on there.
That's how you know that's a legit.
This is a
old-school
legit
bootleg.
80s 0 bootleg. And how else you can tell it's legit is the label. which zoom in on that.
Okay.
The label says Poverty Records, Buddy Love sings about girls. Here are some of the song titles on this. Grace is a Disgrace, She's a Virgin, My Favorite Enema Nurse, Backdoor Vicky. Let's see, on the flip side, Toiletta Simpson, Chocolate Bar Baby.
Olin's going to be enjoying this.
Yeah, no kidding. This is yeah, was he bootlegging back then?
Yeah, he might have been.
Sally.
A Piece of Denise, and Crystal Swings Both Ways. I mean, these are just examples of, I mean, that's why this one is just on my list, because it's just...
You know what? A Piece of Denise sounds like an AC/DC out.
I think Holland
So,
put
John-
that in his collection.
John, when you bought that and opened it up, did you freak out?
Oh my gosh. I couldn't get up to the counter fast enough to buy it.
No, I meant like when you opened up and saw the records inside and were...
No, I was at the store when I took it out, because it was a used, so I could pull it out. I mean, it's from 80-something. So.
But how did you know that it was the Kiss music? Like, it could have been actually that, or is it?
I didn't care. I was just, it had this on there. I just took the guy at his word. I mean, he's a local shop, so he's not gonna.
So it
be
is the
a-
Kiss songs, though, right? It's the Kiss music on.
It's Kiss music. Yeah, it
Okay.
is the classic 1984 set list. They played Strutter, they played Detroit Rock City, Heaven's on Fire, Fits Like a Glove. I mean, it was a typical 80s Kiss show.
I mean, if it was used, I would assume that somebody put the wrong record in the sleeve.
I would have assumed the same.
I have seen a lot of I've seen a lot of bootlegs, and this was kind of something they did back there to hide the fact that it's a bootleg.
I see.
So it's very common to have this. If you get them in this 80s and 70s, I guess. These newer ones, they put the real label on it. But
We're
back
learning
then,
tonight.
They did it.
This is amazing. We're all learning tonight.
I guess that would be like they would go to a printing press or whatever to get it done, and they didn't want them to know what they were up to.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then the other, it's 2 vinyl. The other one just has a green label, but it's the exact same songs, and it's hilarious. But it's a great show, and it's got that typical Paul banter in between some of the songs. Back in the mid '80s was pretty awful and hilarious at the same time. So I'm not going to try to do it because I couldn't do it any justice compared to how he would always do it. But yeah, it's just a great sounding album, and just a great show. And I have 2 from this tour. I've got the European tour, which is the Sweden one, and then I have another copy from the North American tour. So I've got 2 from the same tour, slightly different set list. And in the North America, they would end the show and do "Oh Susanna," which is horrible.
Yeah.
And in Europe, they did something called "Countryman" and Westminster or Winchester Cathedral is the name of the song that they did over there. So kind of cool to have both versions of their strange cover choices. Yeah,
That is
I
neat.
kind of want to hear that. Kiss doing "Oh Susanna."
Yeah, that's one I've seen in print. I've seen the title on Kiss bootlegs, but I've never heard. So that's cool. That's cool, man. Eric Litwiller wants to know if Spit is on any of these Kiss live bootlegs. I don't know if they've ever even played that song. Wait. Yes. We'll get there. Yeah, Meat. We'll get there. We'll get there.
I don't know if I have one with a spit on it.
We'll get there, man.
Okay.
Top 4. Harrison Kopp. Take her away.
Just first, on the back of that one that Mr. Snow just showed up, I saw the classic promotional use only, not for sale.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
My
right.
one
That's
back
how
there
they get out of
has
trouble.
it too.
Yeah, hang on. We'll
There
do
you
solo.
go.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, there we go. Not for sale. Not for sale, everybody.
And just before we do get to my number 4, I'm gonna just, because this tour doesn't appear on my list, you know, a real dead one, you know, it's not the best Maiden live album, but I've heard bootlegs from that tour that sound, you know, Bruce, they're sounding pretty good, so just food for thought.
Fair
Anyway,
enough.
I have, you all know the story of the Somewhere in Time tour and how they didn't film any of it.
Okay, didn't know that.
Oh, well, in the History of Iron Maiden Part 3, which is on the Maiden England 88 DVD, Steve mentions how we didn't film any of the Somewhere in Time tour because, you know, we just done Live After Death, and they've regretted that since. And
How
so,
is that possible, Harrison? Because there's live footage in the
Stranger in a Strange Land. Yeah,
so how is it possible?
I'm not sure. This is just from Steve's mouth. He said that they didn't film a show. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Legit, then. That's got to be legit.
Yeah, I think even Rod Smallwood backed it up too. He talked anyway. So Somewhere in Time stuff, especially Pro Shot stuff, is very rare. But there is one. It's from Paris, 1986, and it's taken from, you know, you got the projector boards. Yeah. Obviously, there's a camera that's got to film that. So they got the film from that camera. So it's just one camera, and it's technically Pro Shot. You've got soundboard audio coming through. And there's a lot of really great things. The picture quality is pretty good. It's not the best. It's a little dark at times, you know. They're relying on stage lighting, but yeah. There's a lot of really good things about this bootleg. Not only do you get live stuff of Somewhere in Time songs, that's another thing that they said, oh, we regret that we didn't film the live up the Somewhere in Time tour. But then they played almost no songs from the Somewhere in Time tour on the previous tours, even ones that they filmed. It's like, would you not want to make up for that? Anyway, I'll get to the great stuff of this show. It's like, you've got the one camera, and it tends to focus most on Bruce. So you really get to see him through the entire show, and you see him doing all, you know, his hand movements and stuff. You really get an appreciation for his frontmanship because it's most of what you're seeing, except during the solos and stuff. And that helped, even though it's a one camera shot, you know, Bruce, he's energetic. So it really makes an interesting listen. You also get the Walking on Glass guitar solo that they played that to. It was, you know, Dave and Adrian. They just did some jamming on the guitar for a bit. But the bit that I really like about it is because it's in Paris, Bruce speaks French the entire time, and I can understand enough of it to be able to understand what he's saying, and I just really enjoy that. It makes it just, you know, really interesting, you know. He does the Rami the Ancient Mariner introduction in French. I mean, he did it all in French. But
this is what not to do if a bird.
He does something along the lines of, he says like, 13 minutes, and then the crowd goes, oh, and then he goes like, merde, and then the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, and then yeah.
Funny.
But he does the entire running free crowd interaction in French, and he's just like, there's homes ici sur la droite. And then they grab, he's like, oh, je n'écoute pas. Qu'est-ce que vous disiez? And then they yell some more. And I just love, because I can understand enough of it to know what he's saying. You know, it's just icing on the top of a really great show.
It's amazing to me that you speak better French than this Canadian who has French as his second official language in the country.
I'm just quoting what Bruce said. So if Steph Hond is watching, you know, if I got anything wrong.
Still better is the point.
I mean, I studied it in high school for 5 years.
So did I! Oh,
I know.
Thank you, Harrison. That's fantastic. You know, I remember I had to do a presentation in French class, and I decided to do it on fashion. So I chose like my favorite rock star garb, and I just added like le and la to, like le leather jacket and la Rob Halford boots.
when we did presentations in French, we got to pick. In most cases, we got to pick the topic of what we presented on. Yeah. So I'd just always bring in my copy of Killers on CD, and I'd just talk about Iron Maiden in French, you know, each time. You know, I just constantly evolve the speech, and, you know, it would be great because, you know, I'd get to talk about Iron Maiden in French from 90% of my presentations.
Wonderful.
I think actually my French teacher, sorry to keep going on, but my French teacher saw them on either the No Prayer for the Dying tour or the Seventh Son of a Seven Son tour.
Wild.
As well, you know, that came out of nowhere. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, us guys, we're too old to have teachers who have seen Iron Maiden live.
Yeah.
On to my number 4. I got this close to the tail end of the record store, as I recall. Guns N' Roses, live in Nobesville, Indiana, June 91. So that's the very, very, very start of the Use Your Illusions tour when Izzy Stradlin was still in the band. And this is a full-on 2 CD set. Right Next Door to Hell, Mr. Brownstone, Bad Obsession, Dust and Bones, Patience, Civil War, 14 Years, Live and Let Die, It's So Easy, Rocket Queen, November Rain, Knocking on Heaven's Door, Perfect Crime, Estranged, Sweet Child of Mine, Welcome to the Jungle, Paradise City. I don't need to tell you that there's a few songs there that have never been released officially live by Guns N' Roses. Plus bonus tracks just to fill out the tail of the second CD to give you value. 2 from the MTV Awards in 1989. Free Fallin' and Heartbreak Hotel with Tom Petty. I didn't see that. I'm guessing that maybe Axl accompanied Tom Petty's band is what I'm guessing, but I don't know. I'll have to listen to it again. It's been a while. But because it has Izzy, which everything official that's been released from this tour basically doesn't have, with the exception of a couple of tracks like the Live and Let Die B-side, live B-side. Most of them have Gilby Clarke. So that is a treasure to me at my number 4. Yeah. Over to you, Kevin.
You mentioning Tom Petty reminds me that I had a Tom Petty bootleg live at the Vic Theater, and I don't know where it is now.
Damn.
I'm going to have to track that down. That might have made my list. Probably would have.
I have a few that I couldn't track down. Several Kiss ones, actually, like Wicked Lester, Agora Ballroom. Great bootlegs.
Okay, so this is Neil Young. I love Neil Young. This is Hurricane over Boston,
Okay,
and this
full size.
I actually made a cover for this one. Well, I mean, I downloaded it and printed it off, but I couldn't find a back cover. So this is from 1978. No, this is the wrong one. I was debating between that one and this one. This is the one I wanted to show. This is Birmingham Vacation. Okay, so this is from 1987. So if you've been following Neil Young lately, he's been releasing a lot of his old stuff from the 70s. The vault, he calls it. He's been opening up the vault, and he's released a lot from the 70s, and then he kind of just skipped all the way over the 80s and went right with the Ragged Glory stuff that's coming out soon or already or whatever. And I am a fan of all stages of Neil Young, and I like his 80s output, but for some reason they just kind of want to ignore it. So there's a lot of live songs on here that has never been released. You got a dance version of Mr. Soul, which is a kind of funky, but it works. It works in some way. And then he loses the dance stuff and gets right into like Cinnamon Girl and that. But there's like stuff from Life, like the album Life, The Lonely, Open Star, just a lot of stuff from those shows. And it's Crazy Horse. I mean, it sounds like Crazy Horse and all that stuff. And so these were WAV files. As you can see, I put right on there.
Do another zoom in here.
Right in there. See that? WAV files.
Yes. Neil. Just Neil.
That's right. Neil and Crazy Horse.
Okay. Just, yeah.
And, yeah, it's 2 discs. I think I got it. Well, believe me, it's 2 discs. I can't open it. But anyways, it's a good show.
Cool.
And it's one of those things where, like, I don't think it'll ever get officially released. You know, he's going through the entire archive, and he just skipped over the 80s again, so it doesn't look like it'll ever be released. So the only way you can hear stuff like that is through bootlegs.
Yep, 100%. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to do a quick gen check, but you start taking her away, John.
Okay. We're going to do one more Kiss. I say...
Yeah, right.
One more. We'll see. This is from December... Where was it? December 30th, 1984, at the Mecca Arena in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. which is actually 10 days before I saw this exact same show. I saw it on January 9th, 1985, just 10 days later. So the set list is pretty much the same. The Paul Stanley banter in between the songs is exactly the same as when I saw the show. He makes fun of Michael Jackson. He talks about the doctor and his love gun, and he talks about some woman saying that this baby is Gene, and Gene and Paul both deny it. And then when the lady walks away, he goes, "That baby had the longest effing tongue I'd ever seen." So I just love that part of it. But what really drew me to this thing was this cover.
Yes, Barbarized.
Barbarized.
Yes, there it is, Barbarized.
It is the same cover as Judas Priest Hero Hero.
Yeah, 100%.
Which I don't have a copy to show you and compare, but the Judas Priest one actually takes up the whole cover. And the label is one of those that is, it's a totally different band. It's the Wizard Quest. There is no song listings or anything, but the person that had this before actually hand wrote the songs, so you knew what side was what and stuff. And it is a double album. Huh?
Sorry, I missed just the start of what you were saying when you went into this, but is that the Animalized Live Uncensored concert? Or is it just the same tour?
It's the same tour.
Okay, so it's not the exact same concert. When you said the song intros, I'm like, I know those song intros.
When was that concert?
Oh, I don't know, to be honest with you.
But what was funny is at the back of it. Do you notice who that guitarist is? It's
looks like Vincent.
Yeah, but problem is this was Bruce Kulick on guitar. 2 guitarists later. Now, granted, it's only a year and a half later since Vinny left. But I love the fact that they screw up like that and put the wrong person on the cover. But yes, great sound quality. I just love this one because I saw the show 10 days later. And so it's pretty much the exact same show that I saw. And trust me, when I heard those Paul's little talks between the shows, I remember sitting in the audience. It was just soaking all that in and enjoying it. But now it sounds so cheesy and so horrible. But I just like that show since it's actually, I didn't get to see that show, but I did see that show. So that was
John,
my number 1.
How are you guys doing for time? We're heading into number 3. How are you guys doing for time?
Fine.
Good.
Do you guys have time to hear the Paul Stanley rap? It looks like it's about 3 minutes long.
Which one are you doing?
The Love Gun.
The Love Gun one? Oh, it's so bad.
Because I can very quickly make a 3-minute video of this thing and put it on the screen. Do you guys want to hear this? It's pretty damn funny.
Sure.
Okay.
Might as well.
I'm just you guys just talk amongst yourselves while I quickly edit this together.
But yeah.
How's the weather over there?
It's warmer than it's been lately, I guess.
It's raining here and cold. Well,
We had a warm day today.
Yeah.
In KW, Ontario, Canada.
You had what?
We had a warm day today.
Huh?
Relatively speaking. Hovering just above 0.
Yeah, ours is in the 40s. So what is that? 5, 10?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Sounds right, yeah.
Sorry, guys.
But it's summer down there, right, Harrison?
Yeah. We're just a few days off the official end of summer, but it's going to still be hot for a while.
Yeah.
As it winds down. I'm a winter guy. I like the cold, the rain, the dark.
You and Aaron both.
I don't mind the fall, like when it cools off a little, but I'm not a fan of winter at all. I hate the boots and
Me too.
the snow and drive. I got to drive in it. Got to commute. None of it's fun.
How's your commute, Kevin? The viewers are loving this. We're talking about driving the snow. How's your commute?
I mean, lately
Kevin?
it's been okay with the pandemic. Like I drove home today at Friday at 3, and usually that would be massive traffic because everyone's trying to get out of the city on a Friday. But today it was like no problem.
I got this video queued up. And again, we'll be on the side, and our microphones are not muted, so you can even react. But
All
here's
right.
Paul Stanley introducing Love Gun.
Well, I want to tell you something. A couple of days ago, I've been partying myself, so I thought it was time to go to the doctor to get myself checked out. You know what I'm talking about? I go walking into the doctor's office. I go walking in, I got my appointment for 10:30. I go walking in, it's about 10:15, you understand? I go walking in and the doctor's not there yet, but I walk in, I see a nurse with the biggest tits I've seen in a long time.
Sorry.
I know it's John
Now
Ladd.
this girl's trying to be real cool, so I sit down and I start reading my magazine. Now she goes walking by me, she's trying to make believe that I'm not really there. She goes by me like this.
Yeah, he like model studying down the stage.
Yeah, he's doing the whole dance.
Now I catch on real quick, so I say, excuse me. I say, excuse me, nurse, could you come over here for me? She comes walking over to me. I said, bend down here, I got something to tell you. She bends down, I grab a hold of her real quick.
And then he does this, he's like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's not very Me Too friendly.
All of a sudden, she starts to catch on. She says to me, why don't we start this examination just a little bit early? I said, all right. She says to me, Paul, why don't you take off your shirt?
so he does, right? Takes off his shirt, throws it to some girl in the audience.
Then she says to me, why don't you take off your pants?
And then he starts to take off.
Now I look at this girl, I say,
Fakes
honey,
it.
I'm feeling just a little bit shy. So she looks at me, I'm wearing my Levi's, my 501s, you know those real tight ones? So she walks over, she bends down, and she undoes that little snap at the top. Then she reaches down just a little bit, she undoes the next one, she goes, next one. She opens up my pants. She checks her hand out to make sure it's not too cold, and she sticks it down the front. And she pulls out and she says to me, Paul, what are you doing with that pistol down your pants? I said to her, honey, that ain't no pistol. I said to her, honey, that ain't no pistol, that's my. I said, honey, that ain't no pistol, that's my.
You get the picture. That, to me, that is Paul Stanley's greatest song intro ever. And I'm assuming, John, that's very similar to the one that you
So
were
that's
talking about.
word for word. That's it. Yeah.
Awesome. And that's from a bootleg, too. A bootleg that I bought of the Kiss Animalize Live, which is the video that was filmed for. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Hope you enjoyed that. Harrison, take us into the top three, buddy.
Yes, okay. I'm Maiden again, as usual. I know for a fact that we will be getting a bootleg later on our list from the 2006 leg of the A Matter of Life and Death tour. But I have one from the 2007 leg, which I think is the superior leg because they put just a bit more classics in. So it was a pro shot for a broadcast. It was Donington 2007. They're all in fine voice. You get basically all the best songs from A Matter of Life and Death. So Different World, These Colors Don't Run, Brighter Than a Thousand Suns, Benjamin Brieg, and Greater Good of God. And then you get a bunch of classics and stuff. A few Number of the Beast songs because it was, I think, the 30th, one of the anniversaries. So they lumped the two in together. This is the show where Bruce actually falls off he jumps up onto his monitors during Wrathchild and slips and falls down, but he doesn't miss a beat. You know, he still gets all the words out because, you know, he's Bruce Dickinson.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple other things. Yes, Bruce actually for whatever reason, he actually speaks the intro to Number of the Beast, you know, Woe to you, O Earth and Sea. He does that himself, that doesn't happen very often.
Usually it's the
it was nice. And this version also had, in my opinion, the best of the, you know, back of stage Big Eddies, because you go through the 2 verses of Iron Maiden, and then it usually starts like Eddie appears. It usually starts it goes quiet after the 2 verses, dead quiet. No, the guitar feedback finishes, and then you just hear these noises, some gunshots, some like mechanical noises, and there's flashes of light, and you might start to see what's coming up from behind the stage, and then as the guitars do come back in, just as it hits that chord, you get a camera shot of the full bloody tank.
Yeah.
That they got a. I mean, it's probably not a real tank, but they built a whole bloody tank that they have back there, and it's just the awesomest of the backstage eddies that I've seen. Especially how they got choreographed with the camera angle, like the up angle, looking at it diagonally as the chord comes in. Yeah, it's just a great show. And you know what stings about this show? Right before Children of the Damned, Bruce says, "We're actually filming this one for a DVD."
Oh.
I'm still mad about that.
Well, as you alluded to, we'll get to more on this tour. And this is a valuable bootleg because they did not do an official release from this tour. One of the few tours they didn't do. And as you have so well pointed out, they could have done either leg. But, yeah, good one, Harrison. Wicked. Back to me. My picks came in pairs, as I said. And my last pick was Guns N' Roses, and now I'm looking for the other one. There it is. Guns N' Roses Covering 'Em. Now, Covering 'Em is a series of bootlegs. There's a Pearl Jam Covering 'Em. And it's called Covering 'Em because I believe almost everything on here is a cover. And it's a variety of tracks taken from a variety of shows. Salt of the Earth, from when they were opening for the Rolling Stones in '89. This CD opens up with Salt of the Earth by the Rolling Stones, accompanied by Axl and Izzy. Then we go into some live stuff that was previously released. The Guns N' Roses TV Paris concert. Do you guys remember the Guns N' Roses Paris concert that they used to run on Much Music all the time? No. Okay. They did a couple of covers at that show. They did Always on the Run with Lenny Kravitz and Mama Kin with Joe Perry and Steven Tyler. They're both on here. There's a version of Wild Horses on here. They've got Bohemian Rhapsody and We Will Rock You from the Freddie Mercury tribute concert, which is Queen accompanied by Axl. The Godfather, which was Slash's solo on that tour. Whole Lot of Rosie, which is a really early track. Only Women Bleed. Knocking on Heaven's Door. Attitude by the Misfits. Again, I think that's from the Paris concert, and that's before the Spaghetti Incident came out. Down on the Farm by the UK Subs, again, performed before the Spaghetti Incident came out. Jumpin' Jack Flash, which is a studio recording. I've no idea from where. And then the best of all, this CD ends with 3 previously unreleased Guns N' Roses originals that I have never found anywhere else. They're called Crash Diet, Bring It Back Home, and Just Another Sunday. And I don't know the source, like the year that these are from, but I'm guessing it's somewhere between Appetite and Illusions. I'm just guessing. If anybody out there knows, please educate me. It sounds like a drum machine. So that was kind of why I guessed. I thought maybe it was when they were between drummers, or it could just be because it's the way they write. But that's my number 3. I bought that at my own store in 1996-ish.
Here's a piece of trivia about Guns N' Roses live covers. I don't think they did the whole song, but I've heard audio because Axl Rose is an ELO fan. He actually sang a couple verses, every now and then from Rock Aria by ELO.
It wouldn't surprise me. They also used to do the Black Sabbath ballad with Bill Ward singing.
Changes, right? No,
the one with Bill Ward singing. From
yeah.
I told you once about my friends and neighbors. What's that song called? It's all right. Yeah, it's all right. They actually, that's an officially released Guns track on their Live Era album.
Oh, speaking of Sabbath ballads, in 1995, on the Forbidden Tour, at the Tokyo shows, they actually played changes with Tony Martin on vocals.
Yes. I'd like to get my hands on one of those.
I downloaded a copy, but yeah, I don't have a physical one.
Okay, Kevin.
So what are we on now?
3.
Number 3. We're in the top 3.
Let's see if we can wrap it up by 9:30.
All right. Pressure's on. So this is Jimi Hendrix, Bleeding Heart. This is infamous bootleg. It was one night recording on like a bar or something like that.
Why infamous?
Well, let's get to the lineup here. So you got Jimi Hendrix on vocals. You got Johnny Winter on rhythm guitar. Excuse my thing here. Randy Hobbs on bass. Randy Z on drums. Who cares? Oh, Buddy Miles.
Too many Randys.
Buddy Miles on drums. And Jim Morrison on harmonica, vocals, obtuse, and obscenities.
Yeah, okay. I'm familiar with this now.
Yeah, so
it's
a straight bootleg, straight lineup until Jim Morrison comes in on song number 5, and they do I don't Tomorrow Never Knows, the Beatles song. They cover that, and then they get into a song called Uranus Rock. Try to look up the lyrics to Uranus Rock on any legit lyrics website, and you will not find it.
Why is Holland no longer watching?
Well, Holland,
two picks that he's missed that are custom made for him.
That is,
I'll let him know about it.
Holland, you want to check out Jimi Hendrix Bleeding Heart with Jim Morrison. He probably already knows it. He probably wrote the lyrics for Jim Morrison. Dropped them off. But I thought this was neat too on this bootleg, how they have all the other bootlegs you can go ahead and buy. I don't know if Mike and John, you guys probably remember this, but remember, like, you used to be able to order bootlegs from magazines. Remember they would advertise that, and there'd be like.
I do not remember that, but somebody commented on my post this week that guitar magazines all the time did that, but I don't remember it.
Yeah, you could go in and like they would have like tons of bootlegs, and it would be like a checklist, like they would tap into some people's OCD and get them all, kind of thing. But yeah, and you could order away. I never did it. It was bootlegs, and you didn't know what you were getting, and it's shady enough as it is to send money to some random company out there. But I imagine people did it. I don't even remember where I got this. But it's like a semi-legit, it's got the barcode on there and everything.
Yeah,
so
semi-legit, yeah.
Semi-legit. So there you go. That's my number 3.
Awesome. Snowman?
All right. This one is not a live album.
Whoa.
Only demos. And it's sort of a Kiss and sort of not Kiss. It's got 2 Ace Frehley songs. It's got not all, but it's got Wicked Lester's demos.
Okay.
And then it's got Eddie Kramer's demos that Kiss did before their first album. So it's called the Wicked Lester and Progeny Demo Sessions.
Now, is that a vintage?
It is vintage.
Yeah, that's another one that I've seen. I've seen pictures of.
Rockwell and Good is the label. So it's another one of those. They hide the label on what they are. Sound quality at times a little rough, but it's the Wicked Lester demos. Had to have it. The Eddie Kramer demos, which some of those songs might even be better than what made it on the album, the first album, because they're just raw and just a little more oomph to them. And then the 2 Ace Frehley songs before the Frehley's Comet album came on. So this album is from 1987 is when it was made. But yeah, the one Frehley song is really bad. Quality's kind of really
Rock or Be Rocked.
Yes.
I think. Yeah.
It's really bad, but it's such a good song. I just hate that it's such a bad version. And, there's a lot of mistakes on the back as far as the song titles. It says Sweet Ophelia is first, and that's not even on here. It goes straight into Keep Me Calling.
Keep Me Waiting.
The names of the songs aren't exactly right. What is it? Too Many Days on here is what it's called, but it's actually Too Many Mondays. In the Darkness is actually called What Happens in the Darkness. So, which is actually really, I like that song. It's a very psychedelic. So it's, the Wicked Lester stuff, it is not Kiss. It is a different animal. It's kind of, there's a little psychedelia, a little jazzy. It's just a whole combination of stuff. But I was finally glad to get one of the Wicked Lester demos. So that's why it's as high as it is on my list. So.
That almost made my list today too, because I actually listened to it yesterday.
Did you?
The CD version.
Yeah.
Which does not have the Fraley tracks. It has 10 Wicked Lester songs and the 5 Eddie Kramer demos.
Yeah, my 10 songs is probably only 8 of the Wicked Lester. It's not all.
Yeah. That's cool, John. That's wicked. Okay, Harrison, top 2, buddy. Top 2.
All right, I've got a bit of a story time for this one. LeBrain might remember this one because it was the last guest review I did for his site.
Hang on, stop.
No, it's okay.
Oh, jeez.
I'm good.
Geez. No, that is a hard no. That is a hard no. Sorry, go ahead, Harrison.
So in 1981, Iron Maiden play a show at the Beat Club, and it gets recorded, put into half an hour recording, and it gets broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
It gets taped, of course, gets put up. Then in 2018, the Beat Club, they have their official YouTube channel.
Yep.
They upload the full show.
Yep.
So you get, in better quality, you get Prowler and Charlotte the Harlot, which I don't think we have any official Diano renditions of, and they're really good here. You also get some really cool, interesting things that you won't see in any other Iron Maiden show. The first is, during Remember Tomorrow, there's Diano singing, and then suddenly there's like coming through, and Diano looks and they actually have to stop because something's been mucked up with the sound or whatever, and they have to stop the song. And the camera keeps rolling for a bit, and you just see, the boys, drinking, having a bit of behind-the-scenes fun. It's nice to see because you don't usually see that from the boys. And then eventually somebody decides, hey, this tape is costing money, and they cut it off, and it returns filming to the second take of Remember Tomorrow that goes fine. And then the other thing you won't see in the Norman show, they play Sanctuary during the show. And then after the very last song, they're like, oh, we got to play Sanctuary again because this is being filmed for TV and we cocked up the solo. And so they play Sanctuary again.
Nice.
But it got taken down from YouTube.
Oh.
So I was lucky enough to acquire a copy on my hard drive before it got taken down. But so this is a double entry, and if I can reach it, I have this guy.
Okay, we're gonna do solo layout.
Yeah. Let me see. It says it's made in Japan. It's not. It's a soundboard recording from the night after. You get the full show, and you get some stuff that wasn't on the. I love this picture disc, by the way.
Brilliant.
I've actually reversed the front cover. This is actually the back of the liner notes because I wanted to display both. But you get.
It's nice. It's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. You get the whole show. So you get stuff that didn't appear on the Beat Club show, like Purgatory, and Purgatory is one of my favorite Diano era tracks. You get Genghis Khan. You get Twilight Zone. That's another track I really like. You get Murders in the Rue Morgue. You get Drifter with the crowd interaction, which I always preferred to the Running Free crowd interaction. Then you get Another Life with Mr. Clive Burr on drums, and he goes into a solo. You also get Transylvania with the extended Dave Murray solo. And then, for some reason, you get I've Got the Fire tacked on at the end from Live at the Marquee. But it's a great little disc, and well worth the $60 I paid for it and shipping it here.
Yeah, cool.
Well done, Harrison. This is where we have a little bit of continuity. So that my next pick was going to be Maiden. And it's the one that we talked about this tour. Which pick was this of yours, Harrison? The third?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the 2006 leg, as Harrison mentioned earlier, and this is when they played the entire Matter of Life or Death album live, which some people like, some people did not like. There was a lot of complaining about that, I recall, but I would rather hear. I mean, it was a special album. I think Matter of Life or Death was a really special album, and I think Meat, if he were here tonight, he is here tonight, but who knows what he's doing. He would agree with me. This is one of his favorite tours. He reviewed it on my site, and when I played this CD for him in the car, though, he told me to turn it off because it sounds too bootleggy. So that's Meat's feedback on this, is that it's too bootleggy. Harrison disagrees, I believe, but they play the entire Matter of Life or Death album and then 5 classics at the end. Fear of the Dark, Iron Maiden, 2 Minutes to Midnight, The Evil That Men Do, and Hallowed.
It's a soundboard show. You can't have too
Correct.
bootleggy when it's a soundboard show. That's the best of bootlegs.
To give you value for your money and to fill the extra space at the end of disc 2, they give you 4 tracks from Bruce's second ever show in October of 81 in Italy. Iron Maiden, Transylvania, Drifter, and Prowler. And this baby is on the Godfather Records, which I have seen some really good looking bootlegs on that label. And I would happily invest in another one from the Godfather Records. But finding that one in London, was it London, Ontario? I think that's no, Mississauga with T-Rev. There was a vendor right at the entrance/exit, prime real estate, selling all these Godfather records in a beautiful display, and it's like, shit. I only have enough money for one, but it was one of my holy grail things. That tour, Harrison understands. Maiden didn't release anything official from that tour, and it's the entire frickin' album done live.
The closest they've done, piece of trivia, sorry, to
we could rename the show to that. It's not that we're marginalizing your creativity. It's just that it's not to my personal taste, that kind of vulgar kind of thing.
The funny thing is...
That's all. It's taste. It's just personal taste.
I believe the closest Iron Maiden got to ever playing a full album, an album in full live, was the Killers tour, which is that one, and the Virtual 11 tour, of all things.
Yeah.
Where they only didn't play one.
Como está, amigo?
Yeah. Shame.
Yeah. And playing an album live like that, it's not always the smoothest. Like I like when Sloan did Navy Blues, there was a lot of, like, they had to switch a lot of things in between songs. Yeah. Because they use different guitars, different and they're the type of, like, all 4 members all play different instruments.
Yeah. So they on keyboards for one song, switches to drums.
Right. So live they would play, okay, let's play 3 songs with Chris on drums, and then we'll move on to the next one. And it was a lot of stop and start. So anyways,
you guys saw that.
I missed it. What did it say?
Scream for me, LeBrain Train. We did more copy because he's so good looking.
There you go.
I never put the comment on screen, but a few months back, the last time Harrison was on, probably somebody did leave a comment saying, "Does it make me gay that I think Harrison's really hot?" I didn't put the comment up, but there you
I'm flattered that at least someone's interested in me.
There you go. I don't know what continent. I don't even know what continent they were on.
I would take it as compliments. It's all compliments, man.
Yeah.
One thing, LeBrain, you're looking just a little fuzzy on the camera. I'm not sure.
I know. I can't seem to. I keep going in and out of focus, and I can't seem to stabilize it. I'm assuming the good guy girl must be a Richard Dreyfuss.
It's a Richard Dreyfuss movie.
It must be.
I did get robbed on that one.
You know what? I'm sorry. I can't even remember. I think we're on to Kevin now.
Yes.
Right. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. We're not going to make it by 9:30.
No, we're not going to make it.
We are too long-winded.
Yeah. Who cares?
As long as you guys are okay, I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
So this was something I found in Montreal once again. I was so excited when I found it, and Sarah's like, "Oh, okay, buy that thing," and I was happy. And then when we were, after I bought it and I was looking at it, she's like, "What's on that?" And I said, "Well, you got Gone Shooting, and then Go Down, and then Go Down again, and then Riff Raff, and then Riff Raff again, and then Riff Raff again, and then Go Down." And then something called Funk the Choir Boy, and then Gone Shooting again. She's like, why are you so excited to get these same stupid songs over and over again? And I couldn't explain it, but I was excited to get this is VH1 Uncut AC/DC, the soundboard rehearsals. This is from 1995-ish, I think. 1996, July 1996. So in the 90s, VH1 did this show where they would get like people, actual fans, to write in to a show and get a band to play the songs that the fans chose. And of course, they got some real fans who wanted to hear Gone Shootin', Go Down, and Riff Raff, which were songs that they had not played live in a long time or didn't play live very often or whatever. So you can see the videos of the VH1 show on YouTube, but this was all the rehearsals of the whole thing, of the whole show. And I just think it's great. I could just sit back and listen to them play the same songs over and over again. And it comes in this cool, orangey, marbly. It's not showing up.
Look at the cheekiness of the Atlantic label.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Cheeky.
That is awesome.
And you can't really see it, but it's like a marble orange. It's not really showing up on the camera, but trust me. Why can't they get nice photos of Cliff? Poor
Don't
Lana.
know. I think they're nice photos. I don't know.
Let's see. What's wrong with Cliff here?
Chris Sars.
Cliff, that is true. He does look like he needs to go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
Can we take this photo quick? Because I really got to go. She's got a point there. She does. But anyways, that's a bootleg for you, right? They just take it fast. Whatever. Anyways.
Beautiful.
I love it. It's fantastic.
Okay, so Chris Sar's telling us to hurry up, I guess. But Jonathan, what do you got for your number 2?
It is not Kiss, believe it or not.
Didn't see that coming.
But it does prove that in the 80s, they used labels that didn't have the name of the band or any of the songs. This is Aaron Records for licensed broadcast use only, 1987. Now, the recordings, one is a BBC Paris Theatre in London. This is Def Leppard's live at the top. Look at that cover.
Lana.
That
is awesome.
Sweet cover. And then it's just got Joe on the back.
So image on the cover, that's just for that bootleg?
Just for that bootleg.
Wow, they must have stolen that from an established, maybe a science fiction book cover.
Yeah, I haven't been able to find it, but I'm sure that's where they got it. Somewhere out there they had to get it.
Yeah.
But it looks like a Def Leppard cover from the 80s, I mean, the way they were doing them.
Yeah.
Side A and the first song on side B are from August 22nd, 1979 in BBC's Paris Theatre in London. And then side B, song 2 to 6, is from the Reading Festival on October 24th, 1980. So this is classic era Def Leppard. Pete Willis and Steve Clark are they're freaking awesome on this thing. Those two together, they had a great sound live. And I hate that Pete got kicked out for drinking and Steve didn't, and Steve passed away. But I had to get this. I actually bought this on eBay because I wanted early Def Leppard bootleg. And then, of course, when they released the early years, it's almost the exact same songs from the early years. So it's not the same show, though. I did prove that out. But it's just great. It's got songs like Medicine Man, which is actually, was that Too Late for Love? Or it's actually from a song from Pyromania.
Yeah. It turned into something. I think you're right.
Medicine Man. Oh, it's Rock Till You Drop.
Okay.
That's what Medicine Man is. And then at this time it had a song on here called Alive, which is actually Glad I'm Alive.
Very early.
And then they did Lady Strange, which they hadn't even released High and Dry yet.
Wow.
So that was cool to have that on there. This is just a great, it doesn't sound the best, but it's early Def Leppard. That's all I care about.
Yeah, that's a win there, John.
Yeah.
That's a clear win. Okay, last round. Harrison. What's your
1 minute.
Yeah, you got 1 minute. Basically, we all have 1 minute. So that's actually 15 seconds.
15 seconds each, yeah.
We're approaching critical contrarian mass right now.
Uh-oh.
It's not Virtual Light Strikes Over France, but only because I found a better gig from that tour. It's a pro-shot TV broadcast from, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's spelled Curitiba,
Well done, Harrison.
Kind of figured we'd have a Blaze.
I know you've been wanting me to get to that concert, so yeah, I mean, this is as good a time as any.
Yeah.
Well done,
I'm not
Harrison.
sure if I mentioned it to you.
I think you have. Anyway, that's a great number one. My number one is one that is sitting in my storage locker, so I can't get to it right now, but is a dual VHS cassette set that I bought from, if not Ralph the Bootlegger, then one of his buddies at one of the record shows. And I bought it before this concert had been officially released by the band. And I bought a completely uncut version of this by the band. And as Kevin has said, and as I think even John has had a few mentions of bootlegs where they had to stop a song because they made a mistake and re-record it for the sake of the broadcast. Mm-hmm. Numerous songs in this set list were done twice or three times even, if I remember correctly. I'm looking at setlist.com right now, but it doesn't list every time they had to repeat a song. But Rock and Roll All Night is one that they had to repeat. Every Time I Look at You is one they had to repeat. There was one from Gene's solo album, I believe it was See You Tonight, that Gene forgot the words to his own solo track. They had to fix 2000 Man because at the end, Ace Frehley says, "Yeah, 2000, you better fucking believe it." And the Meat Man had asked before if Spit was on any of our bootlegs. And I confirmed, yes, Spit was played. 15th track. And the interesting thing was, at the Kiss MTV Unplugged, there was like a long break between actual sets. They played a long set of acoustic stuff, and then they brought in the string section to do Every Time I Look at You. So, there's a lot of stuff here that is from the between part. And Spit was one of them. It didn't make the final... Do I have this right, John? Spit was not on the final album, was it?
The MTV, the Unplugged one? I don't think so.
And some of these songs, they barely made it through, because they're kind of improvising as they're changing the set and whatnot. But I got this a good few months before MTV Unplugged was released. I didn't know what the final track list on MTV Unplugged was going to be. I remember they played Hard Luck Woman with Paul Stanley singing lead, which was really cool. That was not on the final album. I don't think it was. Hard Luck Woman with Paul singing lead. Was that on the final album? No. So, I mean, great stuff on this video. It was 3 hours long. All the mistakes. All the talking. And there's a funny bit where, as you guys probably know, at the end of the song, at the end of the set, they brought out the old original Kiss members to come out and play. They did 2 songs with just the 4 guys. The original Kiss. Peter, Chris, Ace Frehley, Paul, and Gene. They played 2 songs which were Beth and 2000 Man. And then they brought Bruce and Eric back onto the stage. And I don't know if people were booing, because at one point Paul says, the funny thing about having a name like Bruce is that when people are chanting Bruce, it sounds like boo. But honestly, I don't think they were chanting Bruce. Bruce. I think they were kind of booing when Bruce and Eric came back on stage. That's just my take, and I think Paul was covering for that. Just my take.
That's kind of unfair to do. Like,
that's just awful. Yeah.
Like,
well, you would think Bruce when he comes back on stage.
No, to actually, like, I would wrap up the show with that. Like that. Like, how you can expect those guys to come back and top
okay, so
that?
what they did was they had them come out. It wasn't just Bruce and Eric coming back. Maybe the audience thought it was just Bruce and Eric's coming back. But what they did was even better. A full 6-piece Kiss.
Yeah.
3 guitars, 2 drummers.
Oh, so the original members were still on stage.
Correct.
Yeah,
But
okay.
I think that reaction, like you would have assumed, right?
Right, that they were going to kick the old guys
right.
off. Okay.
But it wasn't. It was even better. And they did what? Rock and Roll All Night and what was the other tune? Oh, Nothing to Lose, I think, wasn't it?
I just had it out. Sorry. They did Rock and Roll All Night and Got to Choose. Oh, Nothing to Lose.
Yeah.
And Got to Choose.
Got to Choose was actually earlier in the set, but it's stuck on the end.
That's a bonus track. So sorry. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and they, it's kind of cool because they did this version of Rock and Roll All Night with like all the guys singing except for Bruce and Eric.
Yeah.
So they all take it. Eric did sing a little bit.
Eric did sing. Bruce was the only one that didn't.
They gave everybody a turn. They gave everybody a line, kind of thing. It was really cool.
Yeah.
I'm really long-winded here, so I'm just going to wrap it up. Kiss MTV Unplugged, the full 3-hour VHS tape. There you go, Kevin.
So we're at number 2, right?
Yeah, 1.
No, number 1.
Oh, number 1. Okay, I got an extra one on here then. Okay, my list is messed up. I was going to mention Eddie Van Halen's last show, which I don't have a physical copy of. Okay. But that's why that one's special. Okay, so my number 1 is so this is like a show that I had. It's AC/DC at the Old Waldorf, San Francisco, 1977. I had it on a CD, burnt copy, of course, but I got rid of it when I found a vinyl copy out there. And I bought this in Kingston, in Aaron's neck of the woods, if I can say that. And this is a legendary show because it is...
Kingston is not anywhere near Aaron. Kingston?
No, I'm thinking of Jeff. Sorry, I'm thinking of Jeff.
Jeff Stephen, yes.
Aaron's in Owen Sound. Okay.
These guys don't give a shit.
Look, it's late. We're in hour 3, okay?
No kidding.
So, I was happy to get this, but I did have to make a little concession. This is a great show. It's a soundboard recording. Bon Scott was notorious for getting a little slurry in some shows, but he sounded like spot on, fantastic on this one. But the only problem with this was that the jack, which is it's a great version of the jack because Bon Scott does this whole intro with gonorrhea, and there's this whole it actually says the jack with the gonorrhea intro.
Oh my god!
On it, and it's a whole play with the crowd and all that. Of course, something that would never get officially released. But the only thing is that they cut it. They chopped up the song. Right, half of it's on side 1, half of it's on side 2. But it was a great concert to get on vinyl. So I go out and get that, and then the next week we went out to Coburg, and believe it or not, I found the same friggin' show. San Francisco, 77 on double, where they put the jack all on one friggin' side. I couldn't believe it that I found it again, and I'm like, am I going to spend $30 on a friggin' bootleg that I just bought last week? Yes, I am. That's how stupid I am. So
I love you, Kevin Sinister.
Well, that's how much I love this
and you
band.
can tell Sarah I said so.
Well, it's pretty cool release, though. I couldn't, I couldn't pass it up.
Yeah,
and I think it's just black vinyl, but I like the label on here. How simple it is.
We're gonna take a look at that.
Just the simple parachute on there, and just a simple label. It's the same label on both sides.
Nice.
And Lana was asking, what is Angus wearing?
Yeah, the stripy shirt with a tie.
So, if there's one thing that I learned when I was doing the going back and doing all the DVDs and all that, is that Angus was not really married to the schoolboy uniform as much as from the Back in Black era and on. Like, he changed up his outfit a lot. I don't know if it was for TV, because there was a lot of TV spots in that, but he would wear all sorts of crazy things, like soccer uniforms and a dress sometimes, you know. So I don't know. I'm assuming this is one of his crazy outfits that he was wearing in 1977. San Francisco, too. So, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
When you're out there, you know.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong.
Wicked, Kevin, wicked.
There you go. There's my number one.
Applause to you for a fantastic list. And now, John, the pressure's on to take us out.
Okay.
What's your number one, buddy?
My number one, timing is everything. Back in September, at record store day, waited in line, went in, got my records from the record store day, and I'm standing in line to check out. And I look up on top of their shelves, and this was sitting there. And I was like, never seen that before. I pull it down. The minute when I figured out what it was, I bought it. Well, sadly, a month or two later, Eddie Van Halen passed away.
Mm.
So I can only imagine what the price of this would have been afterwards. It is Women and Children's First Sessions bootleg.
I knew it. That's what I'm stealing from his house. That's what I'm getting. Mike, you can have all that Kiss crap. That's what I'm going for.
And then it's got a beautiful red one.
Yeah. Look at that.
It's just
Heist.
It's awesome.
Heist.
So it's got the demos for "And the Cradle Will Rock," Romeo Delight instrumental, an unreleased instrumental, Everybody Wants Some, Loss of Control, an instrumental piece for Take Your Whiskey Home. Then it's got a simple rhyme instrumental, Fools, Take Your Whiskey Home, an intro. And then it's got a few bonus tracks. One is Gene Genie from Pasadena in 1976. And the other two are bootlegs or demos of Voodoo Queen, which, if you don't know, I have that written here. Voodoo Queen, you might know it as Mean Street. So, and then Bullet Head from, this was from a 1978 performance on New Year's Eve of Bullet Head. You know it from A Different Kind of Truth in 2012 when they released it officially.
Nice find, John.
Studio version. Now, the Bullet Head version kind of sucks. It's really bad quality, but 1978, I'll take it. A live version.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this now means a lot because it's the last Van Halen thing I bought before he passed away.
Is Bullet Head identifiable as the same song?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Actually, I thought Bullet Head, just by the title, was actually one of the more recent songs from A Different Kind of Truth. I didn't know that. So wicked, John. And taking us out on Eddie Van Halen. That's awesome.
I had to.
That's awesome. That's really appropriate. Mr. Kopp.
Yes.
I know you and I had hoped to talk about Operation Mindcrime a little bit at the end of the countdown, but we just don't have time. My dinner is just arriving just now, and I'd like to eat it while it's hot.
Can save it for another show.
I can't guarantee there'll be time next week, but maybe Riffs of the 80s, the post-show, if there's time, would be an appropriate time to discuss Mindcrime, since it's Riffs of the 80s. And some of those riffs might be on my personal list. But that's an if, and we'll see. We got a lot of people on next week. We're doing Riffs of the 80s, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Slahan will be back. I believe Kevin Simister will be with us.
Yeah, if you have me, I'll be there.
John T. Snow definitely with us. Right? I hope.
I think I'll be able to, yeah.
Okay. And, Rob Daniels will also be with us for Riffs of the 80s. He's really excited to join us for that one. Whether Aaron joins us or not, I don't know yet. Max the Axe has given us the kudos tonight. Thank you, Max. Really appreciate it. And thank you guys for being so generous with 3 hours of your Friday night. Really, well, not you. That's Saturday. Your Saturday morning. But I really do appreciate it every week. I honestly couldn't talk for 3 hours. Well, no, that's not true. I have talked for 3 hours. But it's so much more fun with you guys.
Yeah.
I really
That was good
appreciate
times.
it. And great show and tell tonight, guys, all around. Fantastic. Even Harrison had one, which is great.
Yeah.
We might get a list from Lana next week.
For the 80s riffs? Nice.
Yeah. You know what?
Old
Lana?
Def Leppard
Send me a list. I have no idea how long next week.
with a touch of AC/DC.
Send me a list Use the contact me form on my website. Send me a list. If we have time, I will read it. I hope so. But you never know how these things go. I mean, only 4 of us. I think this might be the first time that a 4-man panel has gone almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
Well, normally we didn't have as much show and tell.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
There is no crime in being incredibly good looking, Harrison.
Oh, jeez.
And T-Bone. Actually,
What?
you know what, T-Bone? I'm really glad that you are the last person to leave a comment, because we're going to go out on your song, the LeBrain Train credits, their theme thing. Pretend it's credits.
Awesome
Pretend they're
talking to you
scrolling
guys.
Credits.
Good seeing you.
Take care, guys. You have a wonderful
later.
weekend, and I'll see you hopefully next week. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. Here is the LeBrain theme song by T-Bone Erickson. Ciao!
Ticket to anywhere and a glazed donut to go.